the Drainage Committee meeting. Let the record reflect all members are present. Update on Lower Texas, Mare, Conscient, and Himalaya Canal. Can you give us an update just on the debris removal, any progress on?
I was able to sit down for a few minutes and like we spoke, I'm kind of like a quarter of the way done with some bid verbiage on like daily rates for people to start. Hopefully within a couple of days, I could be finished with it.
I guess maybe just let everybody know what.
Yes, what I'm working on is to something go off a 30-day bid for a tree removal service for our waterways that we can do on a yearly bid basis to where we can just contact them instead of running through procurement with it. We could
North
get
Texas?
any one of our waterways. Yeah.
He's just working with different contractors to see what's the best way to price it, because everybody has different pricing structures. If we go out for bid, we want to make sure that we compare apples to apples.
Throw them things over to them, that's it.
Yeah, it was the main goal of it is to
Trees
put the
either
tree
stand
back
or
where it came
down.
from.
You shouldn't make nobody different. It was Corps of Engineers.
Next item, request approval to enter into contract with GIS Engineering for the surveying and assessment of the drainage conditions near Highway 398 for an amount not to exceed 10,000. Ward 2.
Yeah, this would be just to, the GIS engineer to, again, make an assessment, whether they do some inverts, for that area near 398. That, I know Mr. Justin familiar with it. I think Mr. Jamie was there with us too when we looked at it, to try to find a way to prevent water from coming from the south side of Highway 398 into the communities that are having flooding problems right now.
All right.
Just trying to get water from going east instead of north. So anyway, I'm okay with that for now.
All right, so that'll be out of Ward 2 drainage allocation?
Yeah, we do that one.
I got a motion on the floor
Let me.
I'll make a motion.
by Mr. Carter, seconded by Mr. Bro, to allocate, not to exceed 10,000 from Ward 2 drainage allocation for GIS engineering, to survey and assess the drainage conditions near Highway 398. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval to obtain elevation shots in the Locust Road Canal, Ward 2.
The estimated project total I have is for the last time I got this quoted by GIS. I reached out to Mr. Hendry, but I didn't get a response. If they'll still honor it. If not, I'll just get them to re-quote it. But this is the approximate price.
The other thing, just trying to move water to Balafush on the north side. So that would alleviate some problems on the south loop also. I'm okay with.
Motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Mathern, second by Mr. Pondville. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
He be out of money for this.
I got some.
Request approval to sweep outfall ditch at 2799 Highway 1010.
Yeah, this project involves the sweeping of 7,500 feet of an outfall ditch. What's going on here is there's the yellow line on the map. It would be swept. It's causing some backflow of water through the red line into the community on the south end of Bruley Road, which is also causing some flooding.
Is that the 1010 bridge going back to the curb? Straight back?
No, sir, this would be north of Bruley Road on 1010, near the Palmer property.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Subject, I'm okay with that one too, subject to right of ways.
Yeah, I have two. So,
And I'll do that one out of that South Loop money project number
92560.
92560.
So the whole thing.
Yeah.
And this outfall ditch is perpendicular to 1010?
No, run straight to the woods.
yeah,
Right,
perfect.
this is perfect. Just want to make sure we're not talking about
Oh,
the
yeah,
state ditch
perfect.
on 1010.
Is the way you get down out of,
That first project, the South Loop project, we got $78,000 in it,
48, you got that?
78.
All right, I understand a motion to approve. So move. Motion to approve by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Patero. All in favor? Motion carried. Discuss the snagging of trees in the Labrador Drainage Canal, Ward 2.
I kind of touched on it with the first item with that thing I'm trying to put out for bid, but the main concern, I have a project here, it'll be one of the items later, is to do the Canefield portion of the Labrador Drainage Canal. Some of that would be assessed, but the boat ride that Mr. Jeff and I took, from the wood section going back towards Lake Lorette is awful and dire need to be done. That would be mitigated if I can move through some of the bidded item to get a contractor out there.
Yeah, this canal here, that's the Labrador Drainage Canal. And it's snagged up with trees pretty bad. So I don't know how long you anticipate to do what you gotta do, but this is top priority.
Like I told earlier, I think within 2 more days, I should have no wrenches thrown in the spoke.
Yeah, so somebody going to Ward 3, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ward 3.
It's Ward
Yeah.
3.
It ends up going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, within a couple of days, I should have something to send out.
And Ward 3 got some money allocated.
Yes,
Yeah, I got some money for that
What's the
project.
canal?
By Elwood's house, yes. But listen, Paul, we're gonna do that in-house, we're gonna do that in-house, if
The Canefield portion.
the Canefield Port.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I need done now.
Yeah, the Canefield, that's number 7. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool, all right,
Y'all went ride down there?
I did,
The Jeff and Paul did.
yeah, we had to stop.
The wooded section's pretty bad from the back of the cane field to the drainage canal.
Yeah.
Trees.
Is
Yeah.
something we can reach with the long reach?
The Canefield portion, yeah.
The Canefield Port, and that's the worst part right now, I need to get that cleaned up. So that's gonna be on need number 7,
Yeah.
all right,
We'll text us too when you go there, okay?
So no action,
no action
No
on
action
number
needed for
5,
number
and that's
5.
gonna be on number 6.
Number 6, request approval to rent 3 dump trucks to assist with the completion of project 29-560 in Ward 2.
That's the sweeping of the South Loop Canal, which we're working on now. This is just to get 3 contract trucks running out so we can finish it up, within 72 hours.
I'm good with that one also, take out project 92-560.
Well, my question is, we already have labor budgeted for that project. Is that 15,000 for something else in the project, or can it be? A previous allegation, South Loop. If you look on the drainage listing, there's already 15,000 for labor budgeted for that project. I mean, this was back to 2018, so I don't know what that labor was.
It was never used,
It was never
I
used,
never used the labor. part.
so then we don't need another allocation. It can just be coded to that
Okay,
code. It's gonna come out of that 15,000.
okay.
Okay.
That's
It
cool,
saves you some money.
The 8100, okay, yeah.
You're welcome.
that's cool, you're welcome, thank you, that's why I pay you the big bucks.
I think the main thing was just making sure the jury was okay with renting the 3 trucks to finish the project.
Yeah, well, I had to come here to get the approval for the materials, anyway.
What I may do, if it's okay, is take the remaining out of that 15 minus the 8 and put it to the project,
That's cool.
to the materials. That way you just leave this 8,000 in the labor, so we clear as to what that's for.
Well, but
Okay.
good for your bookkeeping. I'm good with the
Okay.
trucks. The project needs to be done
Yeah.
and we don't have enough equipment to get it. So,
Okay.
and y'all don't want to have that long wait for another 4 weeks anyway, so they need to get out of there. I'm good.
All right, so, I seek a motion to approve those 3.
Second.
Renting the 3 dump trucks. So motion by Mr. Pineville, second by Mr. Patter, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Update on the sweeping of the Labrador Drainage Canal Ward 2.
Yeah, this is I made a cost estimate for a project out of this, sweeping 8,000 foot of outfall canal. Doing this is gonna hopefully mitigate the future flooding of Highway 1010, Brewley Road, and Live Oak and Sophie Street communities. Again, it's 8,000 feet of a canal. It's gonna be a substantial little bit of time, and me and Paul are working on the right-of-way situation now between farmers and landowners and trying to find the best way possible of how to bank things, where we're gonna bank them at, again, to try to impact as least people as possible.
Are we having any difficulty with any of the landowners or we get cooperation?
No, we working on a deal.
So far, so good.
No action. Request approval,
Well, I
Wait,
want to
you
approve
wanna
it based,
this?
I want to approve it.
16,000?
Oh, but, I mean, but it's for the existing project, the 92,560, isn't it? Or,
No, it's not.
That's South Loop.
okay. All right, so where are we pulling the,
Out of 92,560. 16,500 out of 92,560.
Well, I can take the remaining labor,
Yep.
and that other project can help.
Yep.
Cost share.
What we need to do.
so it'll create another project. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pineville, second by Mr. Carter, to create the project for sweeping of Laverdale Drainage Canal.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval to construct lifts on catch basins on Paul Street, Ward 9.
Yeah, this was a previous drainage project that we completed. There was some issue with the catch basins. Everything's down good, it's draining, everything's good on grade. These were just low
Real low.
profile catch basins whenever the larger profile one should have been installed, meaning it just has 6 to 8 inches more cement above grade. So what we could get an employee to do is just make a jig on an existing catch basin we have, and he's just gonna pour all the little 6-inch lifts in place. And we'll just reform the dirt around.
So you just gotta put a rise on it?
Yeah. put
Yeah,
rod
that's-
on, yeah. It's way too, like a foot deep.
All right, so a total estimated project cost of,
1,300?
$1,350.
Yeah.
Motion by Mr. Mathern. Second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval for culvert replacement at 145 Agnes Street, Ward 9.
So the only thing I see with this, Aaron, you got 12 inches, can we go 15 inches there instead of 12? So the neighbor got 15?
It's 15 from
From the
behind
canal?
Mr. Paul's house from the canal
Right,
coming up, and it turns to 12 at a T about 60 feet, where like the yellow line starts. We can do 15. It's 12 all the way from there all the way up.
yeah, I wouldn't go with 15.
Okay. I would need
Just approve this and then get the increase.
I have to get T, I have to get a 15-inch T too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Just put the increase in the next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mathern,
Second. No.
to approve, second by Mr. Patero.
Somebody. I made the motion in second.
All in favor?
Well,
Opposed?
find your price high this year.
Motion carried.
My price actually dropped. It came down a few dollars a foot.
Yeah.
From last year.
We'll forgive you.
All right, next item is request approval for culvert replacement at 142 Teddy Street, Ward 9.
It's glass cover there, right, Aaron?
Yeah, it's a completely rotten, old metal, looks like old industrial pipe.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Mr. Mathern. Second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Can I motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Mathern, second by Mr. Patero, all in favor? Opposed? Drainage Committee meeting adjourned.
Aaron, you got a couple projects on the book that's kind of like last year, like Vite Trunk Road and all that. Can we catch that before we do anything else?
What about, North Bay Road?
The second out, get some more employees, they're working on it. Just, you know, people's houses flooding, a little bit more of a priority.
Same thing happens over there, people's houses flood, same thing.
I get it, I just don't remember one of the last year that did.
No more work to.
I get
All right,
it.
let's try to get some-
4:30, let's get the personnel committee started. Let the record reflect all members are present. Item 1, discuss no tolerance policy surrounding employee accidents for operating parish-owned equipment or vehicles.
You're not looking at my personnel, and you just saw my general policy.
Oh, okay.
Katie, who put that on? That's been 3 weeks.
I think we need to use just good common sense whenever, no tolerance policy, I think, is not an exception. We need to just use good common sense.
I second it, you know, we've been having so many incidents and accidents and getting people hurt and insurance going up and everything else. You know, at some point in time, these employees gotta be responsible. And until we start showing them that we mean business, they're gonna keep on doing the same old thing. And, you know, it's my, you know, I feel like you wreck a vehicle, no matter how minor, you get the same punishment if you damage equipment. But we gotta be straight across the board. We can't punish one employee and then don't punish the next. That's the only way we can get control of this.
I hope we're not doing that, Mr. Carter. I hope we're being consistent.
What you're talking about is two totally different things, Chris.
To me, totally different.
You can't use one situation as you back up a vehicle into a post or something, and then the next employee's on a machine,
Mhm.
you know, loading debris and something like that, and a tree bounces back, a branch bounces back and breaks a glass. That's two totally separate.
Jamie, we paying these employees top money.
Chris, you don't know what you're talking.
To
I'm
be
telling you,
operators, right?
It's
So we
totally
went through
different.
all, listen.
I don't care how
okay?
good you are,
Okay.
it'll happen.
Listen, I work in a plant where people operate equipment all the time. When they make a mistake and something happen, that equipment get damaged, they operating that equipment, it's their fault, no matter what happened. You need to take the time to reassess what you're doing before you get started.
The one part of the policy that I think we need to try to figure out a better way, and I've spoken to Aaron about this, is every time one of these incidents happens, so a couple weeks ago, we had 3 incidents in 1 week. That was 3 days that he spent bringing the person to home to get drug tested. And he's taken away from his duties of what he needs to do. Like he just mentioned, hopefully in 2 days, he can have this bid document ready to go out unless something's, something's thrown in the spoke of the wheel. And that's what he's talking about, is him having to leave to go do a task to bring somebody to get drug tested. And I don't know if the right way is we do our own drug testing in-house, and if that person fails that, then we go get an official test at the testing center. You know, we have to find some way where we can keep Aaron productive in his job and not take him away to go bring an employee to get drug tested, because he's got to wait over there for the result. How long on average it takes to go get a drug test done?
It depends. The MMSI place we use, they are a testing center for what it appears to be is probation and parole. And they take all probation and parole drug screens before any walk-in. So sometimes you see there's a dozen people that show up for their probation drug screens, and you gotta sit and wait. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. It's already a 55-minute drive there back.
3-hour turnaround about how you
Go.
Yeah.
We mitigated it a little bit by letting the general foremans take their respective employee if something happens. It took it away from only being me. So that helped, but there's still the time of sitting there, speaking to everybody involved, getting statement forms, putting all the pieces together, preparing some form of notification to you all about exactly what happened, because it is gonna be scrutinized 9 different ways. It takes time. So it is what it is.
Can you take the test in-house, and if it fails, then send them?
They make rapid response cup tests, and if it comes back positive, yeah, I mean, we can try this, but again,
I would be in favor of that.
I'm open.
Yeah, I think, you know, take the drug test, if it fails, then send, just send back to it.
And the only thing that we don't have is the alcohol testing. I'm not sure what the machine that MSI uses, but again, it's just a.
Just do a little research on it, see what you can bring us.
Maybe see if the sheriff would be willing to work with us on the breath test.
Just breathalyzer.
What's that?
Just send them to jail to take the breathalyzer.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Just see if there's a way that we can come up with something to be a little bit more efficient.
All right.
I still don't think we answered the question, how we gonna handle accidents with vehicles versus accident with equipment? Are we gonna treat them all the same or not?
It all depends on what they're doing.
You can't make the rules up as you go, Jamie.
I think it's a matter of is it a negligent act or is it an accident? And it's gotta be to somebody's discretion.
Yeah.
When we have to be able to trust Aaron or the supervisors to be able to say that this was a true accident or this was negligence. I mean, it's a,
You know,
I don't think you can treat everyone the exact same way because there's all circumstances
Yeah,
surrounding each one.
I ran equipment sometime and very careful, and shit happens, you know?
At the same time,
As an accident, not as I wanted to happen.
I understand it happens, but you know, at some point you gotta hold somebody accountable.
And I guess it's just food for thought, would the value of the damage weigh into that?
I don't see how it could. It's,
Just a thought.
It's just, these are, automobile, you got insurance, automobile insurance.
Hope it's not enough to cause a claim on the insurance.
I think you just need to use good common sense for whatever accident it is, so we go from there.
Give them suspension.
It all depends on what's going on, Martin, and everything is different.
But that's what I'm saying.
You loaded the truck in Libreville Drainage Canal, the truck made it almost to Bertrandville. You almost got to Bertrandville and the branch broke loose. I can't hold the driver of that truck responsible for that or who loaded it. It did well, but Highway 1 is all bumpy and all get out. Part of our fault is we don't have a tarp over the load.
Maybe that's something we need to start
Well,
doing.
yeah, I mean, it's not all the driver's fault.
We
I don't
gotta-
blame it on the driver.
Whatever
You know?
it takes for us to protect ourselves and our employees and the
We need to
equipment,
do it.
then we need to do it.
Right. We
You know, we sitting here keep making excuses of why we can't do this and why we can't do that. And we study getting vehicle damage riding around here with trucks look like it belongs to the junkyard. They get in all kind of accident. We don't know nothing about it. We find out about it late, never get fixed.
Right. If that truck would have got
Been going
stopped,
on for years, that didn't
And
get
so
started.
it be going on for years, so you continue to let it go. When you gonna stop it, Jamie?
Years ago, I asked for cameras to be put in the truck, y'all didn't want.
but them tarps need to be operational.
Do we have tarps on the dump trucks there?
Not at the moment, no. So DOTD doing the inspection of riding down the highway, he pulled over our truck, we in a bind.
We don't, the parish,
Huh?
parish don't need it.
We don't need it.
You know, I mean, it's the last truck that had to work on whenever I started here was Western Star. It has been,
Municipality is excluded from that.
Gotcha.
yeah, the West, and I have a
Let's see
note,
why.
I will look at re-outfit the trucks with them. They all have their electric motor and wire systems.
Leave them the way they are, just don't load them.
Yeah, but Jamie, you talking about the municipality excluded. With that driver that's driving behind that truck, if something fall out there, we ain't
Don't
excluded
load them
it.
as high.
Yeah, the municipality is just excluded from weight, if I'm not mistaken. It's not from, equipment or the regular regulations, but yeah, I mean, and that particular instance of the tree branch, I don't think a tarp would have held the tarp. They don't,
Okay.
if you ever seen a tarp when it's laid on the back of a truck, it's really just to prevent like sand and stuff from blowing out. It's loose.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It's,
All right. Next.
All right, item 2, request approval to end probationary period for equipment operator 1B effective January 31, 2025.
I forgot to give you all the papers. I guess I'll let one, I just, yeah, I mean, it's my recommendation, both of them are good employees.
We don't work in with bridges or they work in the granite or what they work on?
The, one is, road and bridge, he'll be doing the grass bridge, one is at the community center.
Requesting in appropriation there, your recommendation,
Yes, sir.
motion?
Motion by Mr. Nakane. Second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays, motion passed. Item 3, request approval to end the probationary period for APCC maintenance worker effective February 7th, 2025.
Your recommendation?
Yes, sir.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Blanchard, second by Mr. Nakane, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays. Item 4, request approval to hire equipment operators 3 for CDL at grade 5, step 18.
Doing the advertise for that, or you already got somebody?
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
two guys I'm passing out now that, all their stuff's good, came back great. Both of them are, one of them is a CDL operator, one's not. I'd like to get them started as soon as possible.
Motion by Mr. Fonville,
Second.
second by Mr. Knockin, all in favor?
All right.
Any nays? Motion passed.
Before we go on, with the hiring of the operators, like this, I guess it was brought to my attention that, you know, Aaron feels that he has to bring that to the jury before we make the hire. You know, he has the interviews, could be up to 2 weeks before we have that, and then, you know, I guess, I like us to kind of examine the possibility if he gets approval to hire an operator, can make that offer to them and not have to wait 2 to 3 weeks. Cause I know we missed out on one employee, a potential employee, he left, had to go find another job. He couldn't wait till we had an answer. It was 3 weeks since our last meeting. You know, so if we authorize him to hire for a position rather than just a specific person, and then he can just bring that back to us at the next meeting to ratify it, and then we do the probationary period and stuff like
You
that.
just need a motion to that effect that has never been approved by the board to grant that authorization.
Speaking on, it's happened twice in the last 16 days.
Same thing was fixing to happen with a maintenance employee that was ready to come on board.
Yeah, it's right now, as of right now, I
They're ready to
have,
go to work.
Yeah, they need to go.
yeah, I have 6 interviews scheduled tomorrow, 5 are CDL operators. They just came out of the blue, no idea. But one's a maintenance guy and 5 is CDL operators. 4 of them are very seasoned. So, like I said,
How many more you need?
I'd like to evaluate it after these 4 guys start and make it through probation to see if they can actually do what they say. Then they can hang it, then maybe 2 more.
With these 4, you're saying? you need 2 more?
Yeah, I think with these 4, I'll be able to get again, let them make it through their 60 days and we see how it's working out.
And the budget supports that?
I have no idea. Never even saw these numbers before. So I don't know what the rate, the annual is.
We just lost one today, right?
And you've been down to capacity for a while now, right?
There's,
The capacity of your crew been down, I mean, you've been under what, 20 people with that? That what you got, maybe?
since, we lost 2 people in the last 4 months that we've had to replace.
So yeah, he ain't nowhere.
Yeah.
Catch
I'll
up.
make a motion that you go ahead on and have Dr. Archer to do a hire without coming before the board. Just checking with him first to make sure that the budget
Yeah.
understand the salary.
And also, yeah, get with the, personnel chairman also. He could be involved.
But I do recommend that it still comes to this jury.
Yeah, gotta be ratified. These
For
should
the
be
fine.
ratified at the next following.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
All right.
Any nays? Item 5, request to hire equipment operator 1B without CDL at grade 5, step 10.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Carter,
Second.
second by Mr. Knockout, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passed. Item 7, discuss employee evaluations.
Number 6.
Oh, number 6, update on dual facing cameras for car vehicle.
Yeah, I'm finalizing the price list, with our rep from Geotab. We accidentally left off the list with the new trucks that we just received. Also, I'm inquiring them, they have, puck units that can go into tractors, road graders, excavators that don't track alerts for things. They just run, one is out for GPS positioning, for days of theft, location, all those things. They also just measure like, proficiency in like hours of use, and they work in tune like with our system. They could send us alerts for maintenance issues, things like that. So I'm putting together our equipment list to send to him, so we'll get a price on that, and I'll just go revisit it with y'all, if that's something I want to do too. But that's as far as I got with that.
What's the price on the cameras?
How? That's the thing, that's the list. I have to get them the list of, the new vehicles that we just purchased that were left off, the ones that have adjusted to it. So it's another 4 vehicles we've added since then. I'd be lying if I told you what it is per vehicle.
So you didn't check?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the paper in my head, I just can't remember what it said per vehicle.
Yeah, but,
Where is that?
For record saying, it is the state bid price at the same was for Justin per vehicle. It did not change from last time. It would just be the addition of 4 vehicles.
You know what it is before we approve it.
no, we're
Yeah,
not-
Bring it back,
yeah, I'm
bring it
not-
back to the next meeting.
Yeah, that's, I have to wait.
Including that with the cost savings would be to cancel the current GPS system and use the camera system.
No,
It needs
It works
to be used
together.
together. It has to be used together.
Okay.
all right, 7, discuss employee evaluations.
Yeah, I have I have all of, public works evaluations here, to hand off to y'all. That's why I put it on the agenda.
I have mine as well.
The recommendation letters, are in here from, me typed them on the back of each one. Also, some supervisors provided some for employees also to, back up recommendations. So just, if, I don't know, look at them in private, wait till another meeting.
I think it would have been best if it would have been emailed to all the jurors so we can look at them. Are you gonna email them to us?
Yeah, I can scan it.
They all got copies to give you to.
I'll scan it, email it to everyone.
Yeah, just give us that, give us some time, and maybe next meeting,
I have mine.
we'll visit it.
Stand in the
Okay, do we have, OEP?
Mine are done, but they're on my desk. I can send them to you.
Well, I mean,
tomorrow morning.
I could scan. Email them to everyone.
No, that's fine. I
Yeah.
don't mind taking a hard copy.
I'm gonna pass it too.
Okay.
I can either email them to you, I can email all the jurymen in the morning.
Email it to all the jurors.
Can we just do the same?
I do the same.
You
email mine.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Myron, check your email.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Motion adjourned?
All right,
No, no, no.
hold on, we have a deviation, Mr. Chair, we have an employee that requested to speak to the jury for a personnel matter in executive session.
As far as I'm concerned, we can handle that under number 7 as it relates to discuss employee evaluations. I have no issue with that, nor do I have an objection.
Okay.
Motion to go to an executive session?
Yeah, so,
Motion by Mr. Blanchard, second by Mr. Carter, all in favor?
all right.
Motion to go back in.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Mr. Carter, either back in regular session. I go, entertain a motion about operator one.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we follow the recommendation of the parish manager, in regards to operator one.
Motion by Mr. Blanchard,
Second.
second by Mr. Nakane, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion pass. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Alcorn.
No, I'm not on the bid.
Motion
By Mr.
adjourned.
Blanchard, second by Mr. Carter, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Meeting adjourned.
We're gonna get started with the Road and Bridge Committee meeting. Let the record reflect all members are present. One item on the agenda, request approval for the state to put markings and stripes on Highway 1. Mr. Charles, you put this on?
Yeah, I did.
And where do you want them to start? from?
Actually, from Conscience Canal to the Parish line, on LA one, but I had a few others since the last meeting. I would like to, it being in the area, striping, to do, LA 10, 11, 10, 10.
Hold
Hold
on.
on, Mr. Hold on.
I have it on record. I'll give it to you.
10, 10, 11, 10, 10.
10, 10, from 10, 11 to East New Texas Road.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I'm not mistaken, we sent a request in
I don't think we heard
almost
from
a
you.
year ago
Mm.
for them to strike all of LA one. Haven't been done. We requested, we also been waiting for the hear
Especially
about.
Brian, it was difficult to see those stripes.
Yeah, that's the whole LA one throughout the parish,
Yeah, well,
we strike.
Yeah, I'd like to see that we just request a status update on the
Repaving.
repaving of Highway
Repaving,
1.
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
All right.
that's the,
And also, repaving 10, 11. I know 10, 10, from 10, 11 to New Texas Road. That's the only bad section on 10. Maybe they'll do that before strike.
All right.
All right, no action on that item.
I'll send a letter.
Katie, where's the road overlay? Update on that. Where'd you put that? Why it's not under? Oh, you got it under engineering.
Yeah.
Can we can move it up? Y'all wanna do it now? Or leave it on the engineering?
Moving up, good.
I'd like to take, item number 11 in engineering, update on road overlay program and put it in the Road and Bridge Committee. Ms. Sawa, I know you emailed everybody the report. I don't have it in the packet.
I can have it, I'll go through my email and have it resent, but
I'll check my email. You did that over 2 weeks ago before we had the winter.
it was prior to the last, it was prior to
I
when
have a
the
letter.
meeting was
Yeah,
scheduled.
yeah.
This
When
letter.
you're supposed to have his report with the recommendation.
That is,
Mr. Calabro, had
it
you
would
had
be
a
on the
chance
back
to
of
see
that.
that?
Yeah, I looked it over briefly. If you could just kind of summarize for the jury.
Basically, we did an assessment of the items that were not completed by the contractor. Substantial completion 45-day lien period is up. We had a dollar value assigned to those items. With the substantial completion paperwork, we itemized what was completed, what wasn't completed, and we're just recommending that you release whatever balance of retainage you're comfortable releasing. But I would definitely withhold at least those values for those items that weren't completed. And if it's at your discretion at that point, if you want to go complete them, or if they, obviously there's some things that need to be done out there and they weren't done. So, and that's why we assess the dollar value. But the reason.
I guess for the record, as it relates to the engineer's recommendation, I have no objection. I just want to make sure that everybody within their wards reviewed the documentation and knows what streets have items that are left unattended. Again, the recommendation is clean. It's just a matter of the roads as far as the housekeeping items as it relates to the road overlay program. That was
And
my.
and we're aware that he did not finish these things. We contacted him. He hasn't made any contact back. I don't think he has any intention. He had sent an email, response, when the initial punch list was sent, of course, arguing that punch list and then saying he was fine with the dollar value items. Well, anytime a contractor disputes a dollar value item on a punch list, that's pretty much telling me that they're not planning on coming back to complete that item, because if they're planning on completing the item, the dollar value is irrelevant. That would be paid out. So and he has made no attempt to come back, do anything. There are some things that still need to be done. Understand that that valued list is strictly what we're taking it to be for you to hire somebody to go finish those items. Keep in mind that items where shoulder material would need to be put, such as rooted Cajun and there's some cleanup and some other, South Bay Road had shoulder material that needed to be put down. We listed that. I only listed the mobilization cost to get somebody out there because you would have had to pay M-Track, the cubic yardage per the contract when that shoulder material was put in. So keep in mind, you not only did not pay that, but I'm saying in addition to not paying that because he didn't put it down, withhold this additional money as damages for him not going.
So Jordan, it's the same contract that we had problem with last time?
Yes, it is. And that's kind of why we're taking this stance is we have to draw a line in the sand somewhere.
We keep giving him work and every time you get almost to the end of the job, he's not completing the work and we getting stuck with work not being done.
Well, my hope is, gentlemen, with this documentation and him not completing these items, it's a legal question, but he may be declared non-responsive the next time he goes to bid.
Yeah.
On Settlement Street, you have, $250 because of final patching and it's not smooth.
He was supposed to bring an infrared heater out there, to basically the repairs for those patches that weren't smooth is they just sit the infrared heater
So that
over
would
on the
include
road.
mobilization as well?
Huh?
The $250 would include mobilization as well?
To get an infrared heater. I mean,
He used to roll it.
Hmm?
He would have to roll it with an infrared heater.
And look, these are suggested values. If you are not comfortable with that, I'm simply telling you, I gave you the recommendations. That is the minimum I would withhold.
You don't have that tool in front of y'all?
I'm trying to put it up on email, but as of now, I want to just go ahead, if y'all agree, just want to take his recommendation under advisement. As our ADA said, go back and check your roles. If there's something that y'all see that's on that list that he got paid for that's missed, let's bring it back to the next meeting and
It
we'll
shouldn't
move.
be us doing that, Ron. That should
No,
be
there's
Joe
nothing,
doing that.
we went through and those items that are not complete, he was either not paid for or the full value of what he was paid and it's not good, it's taken off. But so
And that's the numbers that you provided us with.
Correct. Correct.
Do y'all see anything on that list?
$9,500 is what we would owe him. The contract.
We would be withholding 13,750.
Yeah, the original total was 23,000.
So you would withhold $13,000 and release his balance.
That's the difference. 9,500 is the difference there. Okay. Y'all think that's enough?
95.
That's enough to fix it, everybody's mess up.
I don't think that's enough.
Keep in mind, that's not including material that you would have to have paid him to put down.
Only gonna withhold
And that includes,
Price,
you gotta realize that includes asphalt, if he had to go put more, do an additional.
That does not include the unit price per asphalt.
Correct. That's what I'm telling you. That's why the values, and I understand where you're coming from, Jamie. The values seem a little low, but I can't withhold money from him that we didn't pay him.
So Jamie, I don't have Leroy,
Yep.
just looking at the final numbers, you came up with 9,500 based off the 23,000 and the 13,000 subtracted.
No, what it would be is the amount that would be withheld from the retainage is 13,750.
So we owe him
13,750.
No, we actually owe him more.
Yeah, the total retainage was
Total retainage was
Okay.
126,000.
All right.
126 minus 13,750.
Correct. Look, I understand it is a difficult pill to swallow, but we've got to close him out and you can use this as documentation that and look, if you feel that you need to withhold more and it's defensible, I will back you up. I'm your engineer. I will back you up and we'll fight that battle with him if we need to.
So as the
he didn't come
engineer on this
complete
project,
punches.
why did we let it get this far? Why we wasn't addressing problems as they arose?
We did. We were out there every day, Jamie. But you have to bring a project to a close. I met with Mike out on his streets several times. I'm well aware that he left that, that those streets were not swept up, they were not clean and so forth. We were hounding the contractor. I can do only so much. I can't force him. The only method I have within the contracts is to withhold money from him. After that, he, as far as I'm concerned, he's a non-responsive contractor. But that has to be,
Hey, I wish he'd have been here that way.
Well-
We got his side of the story too, because I think it went both ways there. It wasn't just one-sided.
how so?
How so?
How so?
You know, Joseph, come on.
No.
Do this
This,
again.
no, you're talking about construction. We have engineering and construction. We did our job as engineers. We did our job doing the inspections. We cited the items. We had inspectors on the job. We hounded the contractor to fix the items. He had 45 days. He had 45 days and he did not complete the items. What do you want me to do?
Your guys was on the job in South Bay Road. If I wouldn't have got a call from the residents and wouldn't have spent 4 hours out there with y'all that morning, after we called you, that road wouldn't have been done right. And you know that. You was there, you came after.
No, I was there for the majority of the time, Jamie.
That's
So-
what I'm saying.
So
You came
gentlemen,
after.
excuse me.
Hold on, Ron, hold on.
It don't make no sense for us to keep going back and
No,
forth.
I'm
What
just
was done,
stating
what was
the
not
facts.
done.
You asked,
We need to close this out. We need to close it out. If y'all all agree on the recommendation by the engineer, the retainage that we will owe the contractor will be $113,180.39. Can I entertain a motion to close this job
It
out?
wasn't all one-sided, I guarantee you that.
The question I have is, some of these items are a matter of public safety to be put in place. What are we gonna do to get these items addressed? And is the 13,750 sufficient to get them addressed?
I believe that it is enough to get it addressed. That coupled with the money that you would have had to pay for the materials and so forth out anyway, yes.
Okay, do you have, I mean, I know there's some brief descriptions on here, but.
We have it,
For example, Ruta Cajun,
Mhm.
right? Do you have something that you could hand to Aaron that he can give his road and bridge guys and they know where to go put material
Yes,
and how
sir.
much to put?
Yes, sir. It would be an estimate on how much material to put based on what we have out there, but yes.
And the quantity that was held, is that more for just the material cost or is
That
that
was
the labor also?
It's more there, it's his unit price that he provided included labor and materials. So that is not included in that number. That is just, that's what I was trying to
This
tell
would
you.
be just labor, right?
It's, no, in the case of Ruta Cajun, same as North Bay Road, you wanted shoulder material put out and graded and dressed on the side of the road. He had a unit price per cubic yard to put that material out, graded and dress it on the side of the road. He didn't do that, so we did not, that money is still in the account. So same thing goes for Ruta Cajun. I can't withhold money that I never paid him.
So this would be just labor rates, right?
No, just mobilization.
Just mobilization,
Yes.
no labor.
No labor or material, because that is in his unit. His unit price included labor and material to put that said material on the shoulder by the cubic yard.
You take them on some of those.
Can I entertain a motion, gentlemen, to close this project out and to pay the retainage of $113,180.39 to the
I
contractor?
don't think we're gonna have enough money to
Would you be
do
able
it
to?
in-house. I don't think $13,000 is gonna be enough.
It'll have to be an allocation on the road, an additional allocation, so then we'll need to see how much we're talking
And Mr. Calabro, per the minutes, whether if it's legal or not, based off the irresponsible of the contractor not finishing up the project within the 45-day period, can we deem him as a responsible
For
contractor?
this amount of money, Mr. Chairman, again, I understand the concerns here. We've faced this many a time with this jury for this road program. My recommendation is to review what you have on paper to make sure that all roads are, I guess your review is consistent with what you need in your particular ward. Work with the engineer to adjust the numbers and then come back and do exactly what he's asking you to do, is to close out the program.
Okay.
The issue now is the
With any of
money
you-
and whether or
I'll
not
discuss
the
with any of you
parish
the
manager can provide fill for these areas throughout the parish. That's the issue.
At this time, I'm gonna take the advisement of the ADA and take the engineer's recommendation under advisement until the next following meeting.
I think what we need to do is to have a directive for the parish manager to work with the engineer to see what the estimates would be for us to complete this scope of work in-house. And then we can take that number and compare it to where we are and determine how much we'll withhold from retainage based on your cost estimate.
Mr. Joe, when you think you can provide Aaron with that info?
We'll get it to him this week. I have scheduled to meet with him next week on some other items. I'll
Next
include
week?
that on our list.
All right. We'll wait till next week, y'all get together. Then by that time, we can come back with the jury, come back to the jury with a recommendation. All right, there's no further action, in Road and Bridge. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn? Got a motion by Mr. Blanchard, second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor? All opposed? Meeting adjourned.
No, I have another road for striping. We started discussing this.
Look at here.
LA 400.
All
All right, it is 5:40. We'll get the finance committee meeting started. Let the record reflect all members are present. Request approval to pay list of bills submitted through January 16th, 2025.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Nakane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval of budget comparison statements for December 2024. They're included in your packet.
I would ask that we table this item because it is just an agenda filler. We had final amended budgets at that meeting, so we need not to
All right,
table.
this item is tabled. Consider approval for floodplain manager to attend the ASFM Association of State Floodplain Managers Annual Conference, May 18th to 23rd, 2025 in New Orleans. Approximate cost $1,500.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn, second by Mr. Nakane. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval to purchase a 3/4 ton 4x4 pickup truck not to exceed $60,000, funded by 1%.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Nakane,
So,
second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval to purchase 2 half-ton 4x4 pickup trucks not to exceed $100,000 total, funded through road and bridge and drainage. Is that split 50-50?
Or is that one vehicle road and bridge or one vehicle drainage?
There's a lot of them, like the way you have on that list, they 50-50.
What's the difference in the price between the half ton and the 3/4 ton, Aaron? Any idea?
When we did the last two, it was plus or minus 6,000. Give or take.
You think it would be better to go just with 3/4 tons?
Torn, what do you?
Yeah, I mean, I would just have to up the 100. I mean, kind of do
I think it would be
120.
better off going that route.
I got 3/4.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to 3/4 ton. It's just,
Thing with it.
I'll make a motion to adjust that to $120,000. Oh, I'll second your motion to do. You make it sound right.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I make the motion to press approval to 2 3/4 ton 4x4 pickup truck not to exceed 120.
And these are diesel fuel, right?
And that will be state bid contract.
Gas.
Gas?
Yeah, you want gas. State bid contract purchase.
Second, yeah.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Mr. Pineville, as stated for the purchase of 2 3/4 ton 4x4 pickup trucks, funded through, road and bridge and drainage funds, not to exceed 120,000, per state contract bid. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval to advertise for 30-day bid for a 14-yard dump truck not to exceed 150,000, road and bridge.
That's in your budget, right? Budget. So move.
Motion by Mr. Nakane,
Second.
second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Nakane, second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
We'll call engineering grant committee meeting to order. Record reflect all members are present. First item on the agenda, on the, submitted request variance approval for 265-foot communication tower at 1085 Highway 662 by Lewis to be placed nearer than 600 foot from several residents and roads, Ward 3.
So I got an application for another tower, this on in Bar Lewis. It's around a couple residents. The company that I guess is contracting building the tower was able to send out a letter to everybody and try to get consent to build the tower, closer than the required 600 feet. And I think they got everybody signed off. I think they got some non-response and one no. And I think somebody's here with the company to represent. I'm not entirely sure if she wants to.
Evening, Laura Carlisle, with the law firm of Baker Donaldson out of New Orleans on behalf of AT&T. AT&T filed the application. The proposed site is right around 1085 Highway 662. Those parcels down there, well, first off, there's wetlands everywhere. Those parcels down there are very narrow. And so there is no place on that parcel where they could site a tower that would meet the setbacks. And there is no available lot in that area where they could put a tower where they wouldn't have to request a variance. We did send out letters to any residents within that 600 feet. Gentleman is correct, I'm sorry. Justin. 4 came back, no objection. 1 came back from a Miss Doreen Leonard. She did have an objection because she said her husband has a pacemaker, so she doesn't want it in the area near her house. I can definitely address health concerns from radio frequency. It's not a permitted reason to deny an application under Telecommunications Act. I've also got some literature about that. There is, studies about effects of RF on pacemakers. There's no real demonstrated connection. Studies is really about cell phones being around pacemakers and what you can do, not the tower. So I would assume the Leonards have cell phones in their home if they need to take certain precautions because of the cell phone. That's one thing, but the tower, I couldn't find any literature that links proximity to a tower to interference with the pacemaker. But I can answer questions. But I'll leave it there.
All right, you have anything?
No, I reviewed everything. I put a copy of this in front of all of y'all. Basically states just what she said about the narrow parcels, and we've been at this for at least 20 years trying to get a tower, and I think it's centrally located right where it needs to be to best service our community.
It's time.
Yeah, it's long.
So you had made a comment, maybe talking to the
Yeah,
landowner to
I
see.
talked with them, yeah. That's, with the setback and the wetlands in the back of the property was an issue. But their home is the nearest structure, and the zero fall radius of the engineering design of the tower is, it's.
Right, so this tower is a what's called a self-support. It looks basically what y'all got out right in the back. It doesn't have any equipment on it, but I saw it walking in from the parking lot. Y'all do actually have a self-support behind this building. It's going to look like that. These things are designed to, in the unlikely event of a failure, it would collapse in on itself, so it's not going to fall over like that. So we did submit a letter, submitted a letter from the FAA. It's not going to pose any risk to air navigation, and it will be regulated by the FCC. There is a severe coverage issue in that area. There are a couple big, I came in that way today. There are a couple big, those guide wire towers down around 90, but none in this area. So you've got a huge kind of black hole down there. I was doing some research. I think there was one maybe 20 years ago at one time behind the Dollar General, but that's gone now. There's none. I could see no towers within a mile radius today. I think the closest one is about 0.95 away from.
Off 663, there's a tower site back there.
All right.
Before y'all take action, if you don't mind, there was some legal precedents that are noted in your materials. One of which that I'd like to state for the record: no state or local statute or regulation or other state or local requirements may prohibit or have the effect of prohibiting the ability of any entity to provide any interstate or intrastate telecommunications service. As the representative has stated, they had looked for alternate locations, and this is the only available one. So under the regulations that have been presented, it is my recommendation that you accept the proposal as is.
Motion by Mr. Diaz,
Second.
second by Mr. Mathern, all in favor? Opposed? You start tomorrow.
Well, that's the variance, then we get to the.
All right, we good. Next one, request variance approval to allow for application of commercial building permits for a communication tower at 1085 Highway 662 by Lewis for South Central Planning Development Commission to ascertain compliance with any applicable codes and regulations in lieu of parish engineer review by Central Parish.
So we have to put that on there because our ordinance hasn't been updated in a while. And, we didn't have building code review at the time, and now we go through South Central Plan, so they're gonna handle all of the plan review and all, instead of getting an in-house engineer to do it. So I do need to update that ordinance.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? Opposed? That carries.
Good to go.
Justin, one question. South Central Planning is handling this. Where are they getting compensated?
But again, what?
Compensated, how are they getting compensated for doing that work?
It's
Is it
part
coming
of the
from
already
them?
agreed, like they have
Part of the
the,
permit?
there's a $4,000
Okay.
permit fee, and then they get.
Okay, gotcha,
Agreed.
gotcha. Thank you.
Request approval.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna ask you, could you amend this language so that we can consider?
Yeah, I just didn't expect for two to happen.
No, I understand, right.
Next item, request approval of communication tower permit application for Baker Donaldson on behalf of AT&T at 1085 Highway 662 by Lewis. Motion,
Motion.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Opposed? All right, now you can start tomorrow.
Thank you.
Next item, request approval of subdivision of one lot into three on Highway 398 in Delis Road, Ward 3.
So I'd like to table that one.
Table. Number 5. Request approval of 10-foot hardship variance on the front street property line at 186 Tranquil Road, Ward 9.
Did they talk to the neighbors? Neighbors all right with it?
Yeah, well, I missed the front. It's not the side.
They had everybody build it.
Yeah, it's no closer than anybody else on the
It
road.
looked like from what I read, it's
Yeah.
gonna be in line.
Yeah, it's in line with everything else. It's just they don't have the room right now.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mathern,
Second.
second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor? Opposed? That carries. Update from GIS Engineering. Charlie Moore, Bertrandville, Belrose, Columbia Canal.
Good afternoon, Jerry. Dwayne Vayon, GIS Engineering. Joe Lamar, don't have any updates regarding that, still with no funding. Bertrandville, that contract is currently in review by Mr. Calabro. And I'm just waiting on his response to proceed and we'll issue we'll start the pre-bid and get going. Contractor has been on us every week, so he's ready to go. Melrose Lane, we had took that under, we had rejected those bids per the parish's recommendation, and we're just waiting on guidance as far as how we're gonna proceed, if that's gonna be a rebid or rescoping type issue. Been working with Mr. Leroy on.
So just to update the jury on that one, the parish manager is gonna get a 30-day bid out for an annual price for these large diameter culverts. Once we able to know how much those culverts are gonna cost, I'll work with the engineer to rescope the project with the remaining budget. So we'll purchase the culverts first and then be able to determine what the budget is for the project to rescope and then go out for bid again.
Excellent. As far as Constant Canal, we're still doing the H&H modeling. We had some issues between the Pontchartrain Levee District and our modeling, but those have been resolved. And we anticipate completing the H&H model runs in the next 2 weeks. We begin some preliminary design work with culvert locations and detour road layouts. But that's still on track.
Any questions?
I have one. What do you need on Bertrandville from this jury other than my legal review?
Nothing, just the contract documents.
So you don't need a vote of acceptance on anything from them as it relates to this project?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, all right, just
Once we
making sure.
receive the contract documents, I guess,
Authorization for president to sign.
So let's, if we could get a motion to that effect contingent upon legal review. Because we only have one issue and that's related. We've already discussed it, so I presume that'll get resolved in the next few days.
That's on the Bell Road.
Bertrand, I don't want to hold y'all up for another 2 weeks.
Motion for president to
Execute the contract contingent, legal review.
entertain the motion for the president to sign the contract for Great Tranville Drainage Project and subject to the, legal review. Moved by Mr. Bro, second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
and I do have one question regarding how y'all, record those contracts. Do y'all typically record the entire contract? The legal fees regarding that? And
That makes it the entire contract. Filling documents out and makes it not part of their official recording. So yes, we do the entire contract.
we'll record the entire contract. Any other question? We do have Plottonville still going on. I'm gonna check on that today. The Davis Bacon stuff is up to stuff and, did some interviews and, no issues there.
All right,
Thank you for that.
all right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Update from the Planners Design Group. You first. Name, sir?
Good afternoon, Ty Westerman with the Planets Design Group. Gerald Street levy, we received comments from the Office of Coastal Management regarding the HMIA study, and all those were addressed. We're just waiting on the Army Corps to calculate the mitigation impacts and all the requirements, so that's still pending. As far as the levy assessment, we met with Mr. Jamie yesterday to go over that assessment report. I have it with me today, if anybody wants a copy. So we're just waiting on any comments y'all have.
All right. That's it?
But yesterday after we met, I spoke to Mr. Blanchard and about the ring levies on Highway 70 that we spoke with Joe about yesterday. And in this scope of work of the ring levies in the Piedmont and Bel River area along with Gerald Street, that was all included in that scope of work. So get back with Joe tomorrow and verify that, because we're good on our end. That was all included in that. So I don't want to be charged for a separate line item of the, designing the ring levies on Highway 70. Then we'll be already good.
And I don't know if we need, maybe Kim or Rieta can verify, but I do believe that RFQ was written to include the engineering and design of the levees as well. It wasn't just obtaining permits. It was through completion of construction.
That was before me, but I will,
I just want to verify that that's
Yeah.
correct.
She'll have to check out.
That's what I recall, but we'll make sure that we're right.
But I'll check with Joe on that.
Sounds good. And also remind them about that annual permit for all the levies.
The price for it.
Yes.
All right, is it?
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Do y'all want this copy?
Yeah. Next item, update from Infinity Engineering on parish-wide sewer plant improvements.
I had a phone call from him earlier today and he let me know that, he had a prior engagement tonight. He wouldn't be able to join.
Raul's supposed to be joining.
Okay, I don't know if they're on.
Yeah, he was watching. I told him as soon as.
He said he was gonna try to get somebody to take his place, but I wasn't sure if he did. I didn't see that we had somebody ready.
Nobody's on?
Nobody's on. I don't see it.
All right.
All right, we'll do the next
We
one.
might have gave up.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Raul, you there?
There he is.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Raul.
Said he was gonna try to get somebody.
Yes. Good evening. Hello, can you hear me? Loud and clear? Okay, very good. Good evening, guys. Hi, this is Raul Chauvin, principal with Infinity Engineering. Usually Brian Larson is the one calling in to give the report, but he unfortunately had a family issue to deal with, and he asked me to deliver the report for him. So he gave me a couple of talking points here. I'm just going to go down the line with it. Okay, so first off, the bid package was submitted to the parish on November 15th, 2024, which included all scope items, not including the work included with development of U of Virginia streets. And then jumping over, I'm going to skip over the grant coordination because I believe Ebony Bailey is going to comment more so on that. So going back to the water sector issue, in the event the water sector funding is granted, the scope associated with U of Virginia site would need to be reincorporated into the design package. If funding is not granted, U of Virginia would remain excluded from the bid package. Since we do not know which way the water sector will allow at this time, Infinity has decided the best course of action is to prepare a bid package A and a bid package B. Bid package A would be the package the parish is already in possession of and would be advertised for construction in the event the water sector funds are not granted. Bid package B would be advertised for construction in the event water sector funds are granted. And then we're expecting bid package B will be submitted to the parish towards the middle to end of February 2025. Lastly, Infinity is still awaiting information from the parish and/or South Central Planning to complete the front end documents. Once the front end documents are reviewed and finalized by the parish, and a decision between bid package A or B has been made, the parish will be ready to advertise the project. And that concludes the report.
So Raul, I have a question. This is Brian with the parish. Were the corrections made on the systems that Gainey's were implementing a single phase system, and it was very, very prominent that we required a 3-phase system? I hadn't had any feedback that those corrections were made. We did have some communications about it, but it wasn't written in stone that those corrections were actually made. Could you please check on that for me?
Yes, I can check on it. If that information was passed on to us, I'm sure it was noted.
Yes, there was some communication between me and Mr. Lawrenstein and Gaines about that issue.
Yes.
I just would like some confirmation that it was implemented.
Yes, I will definitely check into that.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening. This is Ebony with South Central Planning. I'm sorry, I missed that. You said the bid package that you submitted on November the 22nd was to not include the U of Virginia site?
Let me make sure I got my notes right.
Is it okay if I hand this?
Yes, yeah, bid package, that's what we're referring to as bid package A, which is the one, hold on, let me read my notes again.
So when it was submitted, that's when we caught the issue with the single phase and the 3-phase system.
Yeah. Let's see. The bid package. Okay, the bid package was submitted to the parish on November 15th, which included all scope items, not including the work associated, which included the development of U of Virginia. So yeah, what was submitted November 15th did not include U of Virginia.
All right, and I apologize. I did not introduce myself. I'm Ebony with South Central Planning. I'm sorry. I guess my first question is, when did you, or I guess who authorized the bid package to be switched from the lack of inclusion of the U of Virginia? Because I was under the impression that that was going to be continuing to be included at our, I guess, well, let me let you answer that. When did you guys get authorization to not include U of Virginia within the bid package?
Oh, geez. I honestly, I don't have that information in front of me. I can get that to you.
Okay. I'm gonna give a brief update really quick, and then I'm gonna circle back if that's okay. I'll try to be brief.
Ms.
So
Stephanie, I would venture to say my guess is probably somewhere around December. Remember when we had our meeting scheduled and it was, we had a deadline that we were not able to meet?
It was in
around that
November,
time.
and I believe that Infinity's engineering effort was complete on all but U Virginia. And they stopped engineering design on U Virginia because it did not look like we would proceed with that project. So they didn't incur those engineering costs. And the question now is, how much is it gonna cost us to get this option B prepared if we don't know we're gonna use it?
I see. Yeah, yeah, I can get that information for you. Once again, I don't have that at my fingertips, but yeah, the funding of the project was definitely nebulous in that November, December timeframe. And we were doing our best to be prudent with the parish funds and the funding of the project. And if U Virginia wasn't going to be funded, it made no sense to complete the design on that beyond what we had already completed. So this is about finalizing that design to include that component.
And you said that won't happen until mid-February.
We're aiming for mid to late February.
Is that something
Certainly.
is that something that can be done sooner? I sent out an email on January the 9th, I believe, asking that we see if we could potentially get that done prior to the next Water Sector Commission meeting. And that is so that if we get the approval, we can tell them that we do have a completed bid package. Is that something you guys think you can escalate?
We definitely want to we definitely want to move that forward. No doubt about it. I know the storm had something to do with that delay. That we were definitely shuttered last week.
Makes sense.
But it is definitely in our best interest to expedite that work. We want to get it done. I don't want to. I'd rather under promise than over promise. But we are definitely pushing to get that completed sooner rather than later.
Got you. I'm simply asking for a timeline, so I apologize if I'm being unclear. I'm simply asking if it's something that is within the potential, and I know that these are all estimates, but let me go back and just kind of let's start from I guess my area. I'm just asking because I'm wondering, this is all up in the air with the Water Sector Commission. So in October, we had a conversation with Tracy Watts. We had to stop what we were doing, or we could not proceed due to the OCD saying that we were not approved to move forward with the project. We had a conversation here October the 23rd, and the discussion was that I had permission to go before the Water Sector Commission to petition an amendment of the grant guidelines, which was something that was going to require the parish to raise the rate significantly. The parish also instructed Infinity engineers to develop an alternative cost analysis, which would remove U Virginia from the cost analysis scope. After that, on November the 14th, Brian Blankenship, Brian Larson, and myself went before the Water Sector Commission. They did grant us permission to develop an alternative plan in November on the 14th. And Tracy Watts gave us until December the 10th in anticipation of the next Water Sector meeting to have a plan developed. On November the 26th, I did follow up with, I forwarded some information to the parish presidents, just letting them know about this stuff in December. I'm skipping ahead here just to minimize. In December, I did follow up with Tracy Watts about the meeting. I was told that they would not be having a Water Sector Commission meeting. So we had to, unfortunately, put some items together very quickly to see if we could petition to get a December meeting, because we were given a December deadline and we were told that if we did not meet that, we would lose the funding for that. That meeting did not happen. We also then sent some information to ensure that our funds are obligated. On January the 9th, I want to say on the 7th, we received notice from Water Sector Commission that there was going to be a Water Sector meeting. Brian Blankenship and myself went, and at the meeting, they said that the 3-year plan, they asked if we can do the, instead of the 3-year phase-in plan, if we can do it in 2 years, and we explained that's something we have to bring back to the jury. So within your packet, I did send a notice to you guys via, or to the parish via email. Within your packet on the 3rd page, you'll see the adjustment of the budgets. So the first one would have been the 33 for 2025, 36 for 2026, and 41 for 2027. They're asking if we can adjust that, so it'd be a rate increase to 36 in 2025, and we would keep that final amount stay the same for 2026. Now, I know that that's a cause for concern because we've talked about the impact of raising the rates. So what I have been working on simultaneously is seeing what can we possibly do to ensure that we are not impacting the residents in a way that is unequitable, because that would defeat the purpose of this project. So I reached out to one of your agencies here in the parish. They previously had a financial aid program for water and sewer bills. It's been suspended, I guess, for a while. So I wanted to see if that was something that we could possibly re-implement. Right now, I'm looking for grant funding to be able to re-implement it. There's a couple of different leads. One is through Louisiana, and I put the grant in your package just to kind of review. Again, these are things that I would have to follow up with to confirm, but one would be through the Louisiana Workforce Commission. I've reached out to Delta Regional Authority. They said potentially through their state's economic development assistance program, we could pursue it. And the other one is possibly through USDA. So those are 3 avenues, but it's not guaranteed. So I'm bringing it back before you guys because I know that's not really what you want to hear. I know it requires raising the rates and it's contingent upon if we get additional funding. But I want to remind you guys, there was a parish program to help individuals who could not afford their bills. So that is something, you know, for you guys to consider.
As it pertains to what you're talking about with the federal program office, they never know what dollar amount is coming in if they're receiving that funding. So how could you just say if it's 50,000 that the parish receive, if that 50,000 can go to subsidize XYZ to help a resident pay their bill? We don't know because especially what's going on with the federal government now, all that could be cut.
Right.
So I think that I wouldn't want to play Russian roulette with that.
And one of my concerns with developing a program like that would be to make sure that it's lasting and sustainable. So I understand your concern completely, and please understand I'm looking into it. I just don't have a concrete answer, and I know that's what you guys want is a guarantee. I don't have it. So it's completely on you guys on whether or not you want to pursue it. I will tell you this, as far as Water Sector Commission, I mean, the grant budget is what it is, and the fact that they considered doing an extension of 2 years when they have made it very clear they have never done an extension beyond 6 months, I think is not only important just for Assumption, but I think it's important for a lot of communities that are applying and have applied and have been denied, and for communities who have turned money back. I understand that doesn't help necessarily people here. Again, my goal is to make sure that people here are not impacted, which is why I'm taking the time to go do some grant research to see what we can do that's sustainable, because I know that's an issue.
Look, first and foremost, we appreciate all your efforts that you've been doing as pertains to this water sector and this sewer upgrade. But look like OCD is, you know, it was 3 years, now it's 2 years, and, you know, putting that, you know, burden on where those sewer treatment plants were designed and putting those low to moderate areas, they can't afford that. Now they want to cut it from 3 years to 2 years. That's a lot. That's a lot.
And then I guess the question is, what's gonna happen after the 2 years? What's gonna be the next increase?
Well, you guys already have a plan in place. You have to do, well, it would be beneficial to do kind of what the rate study expert said, would to, you know, increase it like by 2% to keep up with inflation costs. But that's at the discretion of what you guys decide to do.
Recommendation that we take you and Virginia out. The residents down there cannot afford it. Thank you for your hard work. I really appreciate it.
Your word, you, Brian, y'all went to work. Y'all tried to do everything y'all could. You know, seriously. But look like OCD kept putting the cuffs on us and be like, well, yeah, we give you a chance, but no, you're gonna cut it from 3 to 2, and I'm like, they can't afford it. They really can't afford it.
Understood. Thank you, guys.
We just have to submit a letter to them stating that we're officially
Yes.
backing out.
So Raul, as it pertains, what about, as it pertains to a plan B? I don't think we need it. Raul,
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
I don't think we need the plan B. I think we go with the plan A.
If that's, I mean, if that's your official statement, then, yeah, plan A is, minus U of Virginia. And, I mean, that package is from what my understanding is nearly complete or complete. But if just let me know positively that that's the direction you want to go, and we will wrap it up.
We just have to like I said, we just have to make sure that it's included that there was an error from the single phase to 3-phase system. We have to make sure that that's in there.
Sure thing. Yes. I'll check on that. And then, just to reemphasize, we're still waiting on the front end documents from the parish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Hello?
Hold up, Raul, hold
I
up,
want to
Raul.
see- Yeah, so this is included in the packet that you guys have. We've supplied, a couple of different things to you guys. Brianna replied documents to you guys back in May. I re-forwarded some stuff to you guys in October. I did volunteer as a courtesy to assist with helping some of the creation of the stuff, but I've included it in the packet that I emailed to Brian tonight, and I'll forward it to you, but we've, answered all of the questions. These dates would have changed anyway, and that's what I explained to him. I could not give him a date without knowing what the decision of the Water Sector Commission would be, so for the bid stuff, but I put some tentative stuff in there. It'll no longer be relevant for that. For the rest of the bid instructions, I forwarded you guys the Louisiana Division of Administration's handbook guidance and anything else that I, could find to help answer some of the questions that you guys had. So if you have questions, just have Brian reach out to me.
All right,
Thank you.
all right. Anything else?
Well, no, I think we need to take action on Chris's.
No, I can't make a motion.
No, I understand, but just want to make sure that we're clear that, we'll need a motion to send the Water Sector Commission a letter, letting them know that we're gonna opt out or, refuse the grant that was awarded and, eliminate U of Virginia from the sewer plan and only do the upgrades to the remaining plants that were in that plan. And, I guess in that, I know there's always a future repercussion of rejecting a grant like that from the commission. I would like that we maybe try to ask them, for some forgiveness in future funding cycles if we apply for it. We're rejecting this one at this time because of the hardship that it was put on these low-to-mod residents, but if the opportunity comes in the future and we can apply for another round of funding, that we would still be wanting to apply for that funding.
Agreed, I think you should, but.
Well, I think if our due diligence is done with the house counts that we're working on and we can show more revenue, then the numbers might substantiate that.
Yeah, I don't think this funding cycle, this funding opportunity is gonna come again, but it might be another one in the future, some other funding source, and I just don't want to be blackballed from applying because we rejected this one. I know, I understand, but I just want to make sure
I
that.
think we don't
understand.
want it, but we can't afford their criteria.
All right, so there's a motion on the table, Leroy, to the Water Sector Commission to remove U of Virginia street project.
Well, is to reject the grant opportunity. And that will provide the upgrades for the remaining sewer plants with the funds allocated through the parish already.
That's a motion.
Yep.
Motion by Leroy,
Second.
second by Mr. Bro. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Raul?
You're gonna make another motion based off of what Brian needs and where Infinity can move forward after based off getting the information that Brian needs. going from a one-phase to a three-phase pumping system.
Correct.
And where they can go ahead and get the front-end documents and we can put this thing out to bid.
You're right.
It's starting to go.
Were there any other comments you had on the package that was issued by Infinity?
No, I read through it. I mean, I went completely, and that's the one that stuck out the most. Was the issue with the systems, and it had to be straightened out because again, they said, well, it'd be more efficient at this moment to do it that way. No, it's not. We're looking at longevity.
Exactly.
We're looking at continuation. This is what we want to see in the future. So I was very clear that this is what needed to happen now.
Right. So Raul, I think Ebony can now finalize those dates and the front end documents for you.
Okay.
Prepare the package to go out to bid. But
Yeah, that's great. It's great. I mean, it's unfortunate that you couldn't get you can't do everything you wanted to do, but, certainly get some much needed improvements done, with what we have completed.
Do we need 2 weeks to get this information together? Where we need to come back at the next meeting and approve something, or we can get this done before the next meeting with all the information that's needed, on the front end and also the request Mr. Blankenship has asked, Raul?
I would like to think that we would have that done within 2 weeks, and I really what's outstanding is the front end documents. I think that's really been the hang up, and that needs to be incorporated into the bid documents, the bid specs. So, I'm only assuming that, I mean, we can read over whatever you prepare, but I mean, I'm assuming that's gonna go before your attorney and your insurers and whoever, else needs to chime in on that, but we can definitely take a look at it, but it's that part of the bid spec is prepared by the owner agency.
So I
But-
do wanna
but-
say this, I do want to say something about the front end documents, because the items, I want us to be clear about what we were asked to be prepared. I explained to Mr. Lauritsen that I was not familiar with an engineering packet. I've never been asked by an engineer to prepare certain items, and I said I'd be willing to help step in and assist. And some of the responses that we did, Rayetta and I sat down and we kind of looked through to provide you guys with some of the documentation that we needed. But to be honest, some of that stuff most of that stuff is the engineer's responsibility. That is in the RFQ, or the RFP, and that is stuff that you would typically find from the Louisiana Division of Administration's website, as well as the engineer stuff. Like, I was forwarded some things that, quite frankly, as a project manager, that is beyond what I do, that is beyond my expertise. And I would simply say, moving forward, to make sure that there's an accurate understanding of who is doing what, when it comes to certain documents. Like I said, all of this stuff I was able to pull from the Louisiana Division of Administration's website and forward it to you guys, which included the insurance requirements. But Rayetta had forwarded a lot of that stuff way back in May, and I forwarded as well again in October. So I would just simply say, moving forward, to just make sure we understand what is needed. I guess I don't know that was the parish's responsibility, and that's where I'll leave that for today. So.
But I appreciate that. It's been our experience working with other parishes that they have prepared the front end documents, and it's a lot of information in there regarding their insurance requirements that they have for the contractor. It's information they have regarding bonding requirements for the contractor, and then I mean, that's just one. Those are just two examples. But it's not typically it's not typically the requirements that we dictate. It's so much as it is the requirements that the entity dictates. And I'm just going off of our experience in the past of the parish or other entity has provided those documents.
Right,
Provided that document, I should say.
Well, in our kickoff meeting for this project, we discussed this exact issue. And you guys had said that you would work with us, since we do not have a template to work with, and provide us one that we could use moving forward as a template.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. That's not a problem. We can pull up any from Jefferson Parish or Plaquemines Parish or any of the other parishes that we deal with routinely. And I'm surprised that it hasn't been supplied to you already to take a look at. But we would absolutely work with you to help get that in order.
Yeah, so in the past, for our projects, the engineer has provided the entire bid specification to us, including those, what you call in the front end documents for our review. And we may have had some comments on it, but we typically do not supply that to the engineers.
Okay, well, we will, what I'll do, I'll get with Brian, Brian, and we'll pull up an example from Plaquemines Parish or Jefferson Parish, and maybe we'll go through it and highlight the things that we think the assumption should specifically chime in on. Maybe the rest of it is all boilerplate, you know, I mean, I think to some degree you should have your attorney look at that document. I think it would be prudent to do that. But we'll work with you. We'll assist you in any way, shape, or form to get that moving.
Yeah, this is Pat Gordon, Planning Director at South Central Planning. What we normally do with Assumption is we fill out these documents the best that we can and submit them to the grant manager or Kim or whoever to fill out the technical information that is referencing Assumption Parish specifically, such as the bonding or that we wouldn't have the information on. So I'd recommend that he fill out the front end document the best he can and highlight those areas he's unable to fill out and submit it to Assumption Administration.
And just to note, that was my specific ask when I spoke to Brian. I asked him to highlight what specifically needed to be done, and I said I would look at it. And they sent me like a template for another parish. So I definitely recommend following up on that. So I have nothing further. Thank you all.
Okay, no problem, no problem. We want to support you guys as best as possible.
Thank you,
Sounds
sir.
good. So we'll be prepared to move forward at the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys.
Next item, update from the county grant coordinator.
Good evening, update from ELOS. Constant Canal still waiting for OCD to complete their review of the HMH study. By you St. Vincent, finalize the engineering services RFQ that will be advertised in February.
Right, and I didn't email you back today. I did review it, but it was good to go. I had spoken to Lacey directly.
Okay, so I will get everything and submit it
Yes,
tomorrow, so it can be published next
next week.
Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it? Thank you, ma'am. Update from South Central Planning and Development Commission, update on additional capital outlay funding.
Well, I'm not gonna handle the capital outlay and additional funding. That's something that I believe Melissa.
That's off the table.
Okay.
That's off the
That's
table.
up to you all, but that's okay.
Give me an
I'll
update.
start off with Pat Gordon, Plan Director of South Central Planning. I think Rayetta has already provided you the Excel spreadsheet on some of the updates of the grants. But just to highlight some of the efforts that we've been working on is we submitted the progress reports for the capital outlay projects. We submitted the line of credit for Grant Park. We attended the Monday, the LCDG webinar that OCD just put on. And we recently submitted the resolution, the citizen participation plan, and the notice for the paper for LCDBG applications. That's going to be placed, Rayetta tells me that that's going to be placed on the agenda for February 11th. And I'll bring Leslie along to that meeting, and we'll discuss first the citizen participation plan. You have to have some public hearings. And if there are some projects you want to apply for utilizing LCDBG, we can certainly work on that application. The CDAP portal is now open. That's the DRA project program. Y'all had received funding in the past on a number of projects with CDAP. You may want to think about types of projects that you would want to apply for. The range is between $250,000 to $500,000. I think y'all had gotten that incinerator is the last project I remember, that was done. Also, we've been working with, Paul on the courthouse renovation, work and provided a resolution to him on urgent need. He's gonna bring that up later on. At the last meeting, I believe the chamber addressed y'all asking for a meeting, and we had talked about having a meeting and discussing possibly strategic planning for Assumption Parish. Right now, Ebony is working with St. Mary Parish on a strategic plan, and which includes projects where we would go after specific projects instead of, when LCDBG comes up and the deadline is a couple of months away, and you have to come up with a project, you would have projects in your plan already, or DRA, or water sector, or, so to try to gather up information on what your citizens want and what you want to put into some type of capital outlay plan that you could utilize to apply for federal funds and go forward instead of trying to, last minute, which is common. I mean, a lot of parishes do that, but it's more organized if you have it in a plan. So, if Leroy, I don't know if when you get a chance, if you want to meet with the chamber, you had mentioned that at the last meeting.
Yes, sir.
And Ebony can come along and we'd be glad to meet with them and see if we can get something like that jump started for Assumption Parish, like we're doing in St. Mary. We do have a grant from DRA that gives us that funding. So she'll be charging her time to that grant and not the grant that y'all have for that exercise. Also, I want to mention that CJ has gotten all the information in for DePlaney Park to DOTD. We're just waiting on them now for the joint use agreement. And once that joint use agreement is accepted, then we can move forward with land and water conservation fund. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions? Sure. Thank you.
All right, we had an update on the road overlay program. Yeah. Update on fire hydrant project?
Yes, we had a pre-construction meeting with the contractor and the waterworks at my office approximately 2 weeks ago. The freeze delayed us a bit. We were scheduled to go out with Mr. Francis and another representative from the waterworks to actually look at each individual hydrant. We're actually taking the day to do that. So that we can determine what repairs or full replacement of said hydrant so that we have a nailed down cost. With the freeze, they asked us for a little bit of time. We reached out to him again today. BJ did respond. He's gonna assign somebody to go with a representative from my office and the contractor next week to identify all of the hydrants that are being changed and or repaired. And then the contractor is gonna start the work.
All right, any questions?
I got put in the email or something.
Yes, yeah, I asked them to include you just to have somebody from the parish included on the email.
Estimated start time about 2 weeks or so.
Yes, sir. That's what we're estimating it. I should be able to have a hard date from the contractor once we view them all, but I would think 2 weeks is reasonable.
What's the duration for the contract on that contract?
I don't know it off the top of my head, Leroy.
Could you follow up on that? Because
Yes.
I remember our capital outlay extension only goes through this fiscal year.
Yes, sir.
To
Yeah,
expire in June.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you a date I don't know off the top of my head.
Let's verify that it can be and will be completed prior to
June
June
30th.
by contract.
Okay.
Has to be.
Has to be, that's the last extension.
And that was brought up in the pre-construction.
It has to be
meeting.
done now.
So,
So if you can get us an answer by tomorrow, that'd be
yeah,
great.
I just need to follow up. I don't want
You
to tell you
can't
a
drag,
number I don't know.
can't drag
off
your
the
feet
top.
on this project. This
Right, I just
project
want to make sure the
goes-
contract states the completion date.
Understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. Update on Ag Center roof project?
Yes, as you know, we're turning that project around to go back out to bid. I'm scheduled to meet with Aaron, it's looking like maybe Monday. we had some conflicts this week, but we're gonna go out and take a look at some of the things that we had discussed with you all as far as what other damages have occurred from the termites, so we have a tighter scope of work. And we'll get that flipped around after that meeting. And we'll get you a projected bid date.
That's for the concession stand?
That's the concession stand, and he also had some concerns concerning the large arena, so we're gonna take a look at that, and I'll have to give you recommendations once I have ability to put my eyes on it.
All right, that's the involvement of panels, to move the panels.
Yes, I'm considering adding that to the scope of work, to move the large panel out of the concession stand, bring it under to the arena and put an actual timer on it. So that if their rent is from such and such time till 8 o'clock and it gets dark, the lights will come on a timer, but there'll also be a push button system to where they can turn it on and off periodically if they shorten their time span.
And that also provides you the advantage if it gets that electrical panel out of the concession stand, so it can be operated independently. Correct. From the building.
Would you be able to send me like a ag center budget? So that we can get a hard number that we can work with?
So on the concession stand, we had discussed having the parish maintenance workers remove the equipment out of the concession stand so that there's no liability on the contractor for damage to that equipment, because that was a concern and what elevated the cost, as I understand. That's all.
It was one of the things, yeah.
Is that being addressed, or how are we, I know you're working on plans to go out to bid.
Right.
If the stuff hadn't been taken out, we need to communicate.
Look, we did discuss exactly that today, in our phone conversation. So, and he indicated, and I don't want to speak for Aaron, but he indicated, yes, that they were gonna be handling most of that equipment and getting it out. And we'll take a look at whatever's left. I think from, going off the top of my head, the only thing I would think that would be left in there would be the hood system, which we can address with the roofing contractor.
All right.
Brian, how does this relate to what we talked about this week about some kind of temporary move of that power lights?
So I figure this is gonna be a while before all of this takes place. So I talked to Kim, I can actually wire some remote switches outside of the building on the surface wall so that our renters can control the lights from outside temporarily. So we don't have to continue unlocking the building and flipping breakers. We'll just have an on-off switch for now, connected to all of our lighting circuits. So that way, it doesn't require a guy to come out on overtime to actually flip the lights on and off. They can do it as they leave and come and go.
And the reason why this is coming up is because we have a renter who's interested in renting their arena every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or 3 days a week, every week to the end of the year. So that's a significant rental that we don't want to turn away, but yet we don't want to have to pay an employee overtime to drive there and flip. So that's why we're trying to get this done before.
In the lighting panel, Brian and I just discussed this earlier, the lighting panel, you're only talking about a 200 amp panel. You're not talking about a major expense just to take that lighting panel out of the building.
Budget can definitely.
And mount it outside.
And I asked for some electrical drawings, so Joseph agreed he would supply that to me so I could actually officially know where everything's running before we start moving some
So
systems.
I asked Brian, even with all his other things he has to do, if he can give that some priority because the renter wants to start last week.
Yeah, we'll get him the wiring diagrams that we have on the building from when it was constructed, and we'll help him any way we can.
It just helps a lot with terminating your wires and put them in an appropriate place.
Yeah.
Even though I'm late.
All right, that's it. Update on courthouse renovation project.
So, Keith Lots came out, 1:28, 8 AM. The inspection was completed. Now we are currently waiting on them to come back with the CAD drawings. They did, color code the parking lot for us so we could see each one as it'll be indicated on the drawings. But our lines do not run through the parking lot. They actually go sideways to each of the streets. So it kind of helps us a little more. We're not having to bust the parking lot up. That was one portion we discussed, but I haven't received anything back. I mean, it was 1:28. They gotta actually put it all together. And then once that's done, we'll coordinate with Grace Abed Architect System and talk to everybody about it and we'll move on from there.
All right, thank you.
Also, we received an email from OCD yesterday that the project has been approved. So we've started the final, application process. And that I have a template, but I'm gonna need authorization from the jury for Mr. Leroy Blanchard to sign an urgent need resolution that's required by OCD. That's part of the application process, so, I'm just asking for that.
Make a motion now. Make a motion. That's an urgent need.
Yes.
Make a motion now.
And we have to, we'll create that document tomorrow, Mr. Leroy, and I'll get it so you can sign it, but that's just a template right
That's
there.
just a template. but if y'all- okay.
That motion.
What's
That's OCD.
Yes, sir.
What's the wording of that? What you want?
Well, it's an urgent need resolution for the Napoleonville Courthouse under the Community Development Block Grant Infrastructure Program. It's just part of the application process.
It's the CDBG Disaster Recovery Program.
Yes.
All right, so you need, I entertain a motion for the president to sign the resolution to that effect.
Yeah. Correct.
Moved by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right, anything else? Last item, request approval to send a letter requesting a one-year extension to the Louisiana.
On Tacklepaw, baby. Got a lot going on today.
Any update on Tacklepaw, Andy?
Nothing to report from me.
No update?
No.
Last item, request approval to send a letter requesting a one-year extension to Louisiana Department of Treasury for $600,000 for the Fatty Park.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I put this on there, put this on the agenda, after speaking, with Melissa, our time expires, June 30th. So, I'd like to send a letter just to get a year's extension. Also working in conjunction with South Central Planning to try to obtain additional funding from land, water, and also recreational trails to match this funds with those other grants. So, I'm asking for, approval to go ahead and send a letter to Department of Treasury for that year extension.
And have a motion to that effect.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Pineville, second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Any other items?
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned,
What about
engineering
that?
committee.
Oh,
You got
I
something else?
think we just did it.
no.
No, I have another, I was gonna wait till, I can do it now if you want that. It's another deviation. It's a memorandum of agreement with, GOSEP to do a cyber readiness evaluation of our, equipment in Assumption Parish. It's at no cost to the parish. So we got Thomas Long at X4, and it's just coming across my desk this morning. It's just a document that's saying that we agree with GOSEP to do a complete evaluation of our cyber readiness for all our offices and all our equipment in the parish.
And I reviewed and have no issues.
Yes. Just needs the president's signature.
Motion to deviate by Mr. Diaz,
Second.
second by Mr. Bro, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, go ahead, Paul.
Yes, sir, that's it.
He was saying everything.
Huh?
He was saying everything.
I know, I'll make him say it again.
So I'll make a motion that we enter into a memorandum of agreement with GOSEP, to allow them to perform a cyber readiness evaluation of our system.
All right, that's a motion. There's a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Diaz. Any, public comment on that effect? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Pineville, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Assumption Parish Police Jury, that was originally scheduled for January 22nd, rescheduled for tonight. Let the record reflect all members are present. God, who teaches us by sending the light of the Holy Spirit into our hearts, grant that by the light of that Spirit, right judgment may be ours, and that we may ever find joy in his guidance. Amen.
Pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, public comment, we accept public comment for any item on the agenda at this time.
So yes, I would like to take time to comment on the policy you'll have for zero tolerance. Directly affect equipment operate. I'm sorry.
Just state your name so we can have it on the record.
Paul Hebert. I'm the drainage supervisor. This policy, I'm sure it was intended to be to where it protects the parish. I understand that. When it comes to equipment operating, the knowledge that I'm gonna share with y'all is very important and should be, very critical to y'all decision if y'all decide to change it. So motor vehicles, Aaron Landry, our manager, I'm sure would be the expert in talking about motor vehicles because of his past experience and knowledge. As far as for equipment, I'm just gonna use one piece of equipment for an example, like a track hoe. So the level of negligence on an operator operating a track hoe, which would go with every different piece of equipment. When the operator is tracking the track hoe back and forth, twisting it, cutting tracks, he needs to be aware that he's not running over the truck, a person, or anything to damage other equipment that might be working there, which happens over here in my short period of time. In less than 3 years I've been working, we had a door of a track hoe that was ripped off from traveling, swinging, and turning. Okay, that's negligent. That's an example, okay? We had track holes or where I found the step of the dump truck was smashed in. Again, from the track hole, negligent. Good policy, zero tolerance when it comes to that. It's a real good policy. So I want you to understand and try to get in the mind of an operator. When he is behind them joysticks, he is focused on his tracking. He is focusing on his swing of his bone. He's working on every function that the bucket is doing and the bone is doing. And he's watching everything all around him for safety, one, and for not damaging material. We have a safety meeting every week and we go over this all the time, okay? So anything that involves that mechanical part of that equipment is negligent if the operator damage a piece of equipment, swing into the truck, run into the steps of the dump truck, rip a door off that was already done over here that y'all don't even know about, okay? Yeah. Good awareness, Mr. Carter, you're right. When that happens, zero tolerance, 100%. Now, let me give you an example. Y'all ask us to do a lot of things in-house, contractorial type jobs, $100,000 jobs, hundreds of thousands of dollar jobs. Okay, so let's take one for instance. We did the Maury Canal and we cleared all the trees off the Maury Canal. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of trees. There was an incident there. Let me tell you how that incident there happened, okay? And this was the best operator they have over here at the Parish. No, it wasn't me. Sorry, I'm not the best. Jamie, I figure it like that. But anyway, so he was knocking down a tree. That was very green and beautiful. It was an oak tree. You couldn't see the top. But the top of that tree had a place that was dead and it was rotten. So when he dug on each side of the tree and he started pushing over the tree, the top of that tree was compromised and that rotten part of that tree broke and fell over onto him and fell on that rented machine, okay? There's no negligence to the operator there. He can't see the top of the tree. He can't. It's impossible. And there's certain ways that he mitigates to knock this tree down. There's certain ways, just like somebody that's knocking down trees with a chainsaw. There's certain ways you gotta cut that tree, gotta make that tree fall a certain direction, not to damage property around, damage the equipment. It'll never fall back on the equipment. My operators are knowledgeable enough but not to fall back on the equipment. But that rotten tree that's up there, above all the greenery, cannot be seen. It's an unexpected accident. So let's go to an incident that directly involved.
3 minutes, bro. You know, ran over your time.
We're way over time for public.
Yeah,
comment.
yeah,
I allowed you to go
we
over.
over time now.
Thank you for your time.
Let's,
I'm really disappointed that on this issue, it directly involved me. I was written up for not drug testing an employee that had this type of accident happen to him that was unexpected. And y'all did not involve me in the committee. So if y'all, when next time y'all talk about the zero tolerance, please, it's very critical that y'all have the correct information to do the right, to make the right
Didn't you
decision.
relay the information to the parish manager?
Hold on, Ms. David, have Mr. Lander put this item on the agenda for the next meeting, and we can discuss it specifically without time limit. Any other public comment for any other item on the agenda?
Sir. How y'all doing?
State your name and address for the
Roy
record, please.
Cunningham. I live on 170 Redwood Street. And I just want to come and speak about the drainage system. What's gonna take place on the drainage system out there, flooding and stuff like that? I know Mr. Jeff knows
If you
about.
wait the next few minutes to hear the drainage report, you get a real good update.
I just want to talk to y'all about it, you know, kind of, y'all get my insight on it, you know, I live there. Every time, I'm tired of it, every time it rains, I gotta worry about my house flooding. And I've been there for 12 years, my house flooded 3 times. And it's just, I put 10 grand into my house the first time it flooded, out of my own pocket. Flooded again for the hurricane. Just past couple of weeks ago, it flooded again. And it's just an ongoing problem. I'm just trying to see what are y'all gonna do to fix the problem? Or is Assumption Parish gonna lift my house?
How long you been living there, bro?
Huh?
How long you been living there?
12 years.
So this flooding issues is just recently that it's gotten this worse. Prior to this year, how often has you flooded?
The first time it flooded, it
How long
happened
ago?
because of the drainage on, I think it's Pine Street. The 2 double culverts by the low income housing or whatever.
October
subdivision.
2018, they had a 10-inch rainfall.
It had,
10-inch rainfall, and they
I
had.
got pictures
I
of
got
the
pictures
culverts
too.
all plugged up.
All plugged up with litter.
Prior to that? And
Prior
you
to
never
that-
had any trouble?
Prior to that, well, that corner, that house always had issues. I don't know if you was aware of that before you bought it, but that
Well, I
house
mean,
always
it's
had.
an
That's
issue,
why they
it's
closed that.
obviously an issue, because we're not in the flood zone.
Got
So
it,
what,
but that's-
what's gonna be done about it?
Well, what's gonna be done about
I
it,
mean-
I told you the other day, they're gonna, Paul's working I got an elevation shot approved to move that water to the highway, to the Bayou Lafourche. That's in the process. We're gonna tear that levee down that goes into Evergreen, along the Evergreen Canal,
Yeah,
and make that water go back out that way instead of
but
putting it.
obviously it was an issue before, that's why the levee was built, because all the water was coming from the cane field.
Might
into
have
the
been
subdivision.
might have been bad planning back then too. Might have
So
been.
let me get this. If you open the levee up and my house floods again, so what's gonna take place?
So like the farmer told me, elevations don't lie. If I could get the water and move to Bayou Lafourche, it'd be perfect.
I mean, ever since y'all put that culvert system in over there on the other end over there, that's an issue too. Who's gonna keep the drainage clean?
We need to
Because
keep the
the-
whole canal
I
clean,
mean,
because every time it
You saw it
floods,
that night, the
Yeah, I
drain
see it.
was plugged up,
Yeah.
like it couldn't even drain. Who's
mattress
gonna
stuck
keep-
in there.
Who's gonna
it's
maintain
terrible.
that?
Yeah.
And then obviously it slowed the restriction down, putting the 2 double barrel culverts like that.
Uh,
I mean,
I'm not gonna agree with that.
I want to make a comment about that. My name's
Your
Euban
name,
Barris,
sir?
Euban Barris, UBAIN. I live at 732 Burley Road, which I also flooded for Francine, but I'm going to make a comment about this first. My parents has been living next door to this for 45 years. That house has flooded over years. It has flooded. Mr. Charlie Brewer and everything, they put that dam in the back of it. Ever since that dam was there, for 10 years, that house never flooded. When that house started flooding again, that dam went, it blocked the whole cane field from coming back towards Common Street and everything. Since then, the farmers has rerouted that ditch to drain back toward Common Street. So where the cane field is supposed to drain back towards the Williamville, part of it is draining towards his house, towards Congress Street and everything else. And ever since then is when that house started flooding again.
And then I was told that the house started flooding again after the culvert system got put in next to the old fire station. All that got closed up with the double barrel culverts. And I mean, I think it's a restriction. 2 double barrel culverts versus an open drainage ditch. Which one you would think would flow better?
So
Open
just
drainage
to
ditch,
let
right?
you, as Mr. Dockin indicated in our drainage committee tonight, we're entering into a contract with GIS Engineering. They will be out there talking to you guys about what's going on and doing a hydraulic study out there to see what we need to do. There are some other obvious things that we're doing that we know need to be cleaned that were approved tonight. So I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know, I know you've been neglected for a while, but I believe that we're
Another
moving
thing
in the
is,
right
when
direction.
you put 2 double barrel culverts together, all that debris is gonna get caught in the middle. It's not gonna stop. You're not gonna stop that. That's what's happening. The debris gets caught in the middle of the culvert system and it keeps piling up, and then that's what happened the other night. It piled up, it jammed it up, house flooded.
What had cover, what you had put a cover there for? The whole.
You would almost have to put a bridge, one big box culvert, or a big culvert, single. Or open it up.
Right,
It's not,
in the
I'm not saying
conversations
the
that I had,
elevation, the drainage and all is not right.
right, I
But
understand.
it's
That's why we're
the
having it
restriction of the
evaluated to
flow.
see what we need to do, what they recommend that we do to fix these problems
I
that
mean,
are there.
every time it rains, man, I gotta worry about my house flooding. It's every time.
I understand. Just
I mean,
know we have already taken action tonight to address this problem.
I mean,
We approved 6
I know y'all been talking about it, addressing it for a while, I mean, but like,
Nothing happens quick in government.
no, I know, I understand.
Allocated
But I-
47,000.
I gotta remodel
$47,500
my house and then it floods again. We're not in the flood zone.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other public comment? Here, done, we'll go to the drainage committee report. Chairman Pompey, you want me to deliver it? We had an update on Lower Texas, Myray Canal. I'm sorry, we did not have an update. Joseph was not here yet. Is there any update that you want to provide on, those 4 areas?
No, with regards to the Himalaya Canal, as of today, we have responded to all requests for information from OCD. Department of Natural Resources and the Army Corps of Engineers. The last correspondence we had from them indicated that they were looking at possibly issuing what they call a PGP or a general permit for that canal, and that once we receive that, we can finish up the plans and they'll be ready to go to bid. As I said, the last request for information, they asked for a habitat, basically a habitat map that was prepared by my office and submitted. I've been copying Ms. Torres on all correspondence with DNR and the Corps. So we'll keep you updated.
Any other questions, Mr. Brewer?
Not on that one. Well, we have another person here, he wanted to say a few words maybe about the Himalaya Canal. Warren?
We'll,
Yeah.
Public comments is over.
So, Mr. Brewer, just to let you know, the comments that Mr. Gonzalez had about Himalaya, we've already relayed that to the parish manager. So he sent me a very extensive email and we forwarded that on. Is there any other comments besides that you have?
That's the main thing.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought that if somebody would go, just hurry up, kind of clean it where they can go through it, then they can look at what's the condition and write a decent job scope.
Right, and we're working on that to get a bid price for a day rate or whatever it may be to have a contractor go look at it.
That's all I wanted to do. Okay.
All right, thank you.
He also knows some people that could do that job.
Yeah,
You have it all, you have all the information.
we've been in contact with them already. Yes, sir. We approved to enter into a contract, with GIS Engineering for the surveying and assessment of the drainage conditions near Highway 398 for an amount not to exceed 10,000. We approved to obtain elevation shots in the Locust Road Canal. In the amount of $2,200. We approved to sweep the outfall ditch at 2799 Highway 1010 in Ward 2 at an estimated total of 21,000. We discussed snagging of trees in the Labradorville Drainage Canal, and part of that is the work that the parish manager is doing to obtain a contractor on a bid price so that we can activate them without having to create a project and design phase to go through to bid individual projects. It'll be a blanket proposal for the entire parish. We approved to rent 3 dump trucks to assist with the completion of project 92560 in Ward 2, which is the South Loop project. We had an update on the sweeping of the Labradorville Drainage Canal, which is in the field portion. Am I correct? In the field before it gets to the wood line.
$16,500.
We approved to construct lifts on the catch basins on Paul Street in Ward 9. We approved for the culvert replacement at 145 Agnes Street, and we approved for the culvert replacement at 142 Teddy Street.
Motion to accept as read.
What about the 3 drum trucks?
Got it.
You got them.
All right, have a motion to accept the report by Mr. Ponville, second by Mr. Mathern. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Personnel Committee meeting, Chairman Diaz.
Personnel Committee met at 4:30, all members were present. We discussed the no tolerance policy with employee accidents while operating parish-owned equipment. We approved the end probationary period for equipment operator 1B effective January 31st, 2025. We approved the end of probationary period for APC maintenance worker effective February 7th, 2025. We approved to hire operator 3 with CDL at grade 5, step 18. We approved to hire equipment operator 1B without CDL at grade 5, step 10. We approved the parish manager to hire employees and then upon next meeting, get an approval from this jury. We'll discuss employee evaluations, and we also approved the recommendation of parish manager in reference to equipment operator 1. I present this all in the form of a motion.
Motion presented by Mr. Diaz,
Second.
and second by Mr. Nakam. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Road and Bridge Committee, Chairman Alcorn.
Yeah, the Road and Bridge Committee met this afternoon. All members were present. First item, we approved, to send a letter to the state, as pertains to marking and stripings on Conscien Road, LA.
To Parish line.
Conscien to but we're gonna do all the LA
I
one.
got a list.
You got the list? All right, Kim has all the lists of last. In item number 2, we received an update on the road overlay program. As of now, we're just gonna take under advisement of the recommendation of the engineer. And the engineer and the parish manager will come up with a list and also a budget items as pertains to what was left over from the road overlay program, and we'll proceed at the next meeting. I'll give you those 2 items in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn. Second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Finance Committee report. Finance Committee met at 5:40. All members were present. We approved to pay the list of bills submitted through January 16th, 2025. We tabled the budget comparison statements for December 24. We approved for the floodplain manager to attend the ASFM conference in May at an approximate cost of $1,500. We approved the purchase of 1 3/4 ton 4x4 pickup truck to be funded out of 1%. And we approved the purchase of 2 3/4 ton 4x4 pickup trucks to be funded by Road and Bridge and Drainage, 50% each.
Not to exceed 120.
not to exceed 120. Correct. We approved to advertise for a 30-day bid for a 14-yard dump truck with a not to exceed of 150,000. Entertain a motion to accept, motion to accept by Mr. Nakane. Second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Engineering Grants Committee, Chairman Nakane.
Engineering Grants Committee met, all members present. First item, we approve a variance for 265 foot for communication tower at 1085 Highway 662 by Lewis. Second item, request variance approved to allow for application of commercial building permits for a communication tower at 1085 Highway 662. Third item, request approval of communication tower permit application for Baker Donaldson on behalf of AT&T at 1085 Highway 662. Fourth item, we requested approval of subdivision of one lot into 3 on highway. We tabled out, I'm sorry. That's why I got that T right there. Next item, we request approval for a 10-foot hardship variance on the front street property line at 186 Maya Tranquil Road. We had update from GIS Engineering concerning Moore, Bertrandville Drainage, Bell Rose Drainage Project, Austin Drainage Project. And we're approving motion to parish president to sign depending on legal review. That's for the Bertrandville Drainage Project. And update from the Planners Design Group. Update from Infinity Engineering on parish-wide sewer plant improvement projects. And we had a motion to reject the grant opportunity with the Water Sector Commission and let them know that we will be removing you and Virginia's project from that scope. And update for the grants account coordinator, an update from South Central Planning and Development Commission. Update the fire hydrant project, updated the Ag Center roof project, we had updated the courthouse renovations project. And no action, no update on Attack Park Landing project. And we request approval to send a letter requesting a 1-year extension to the Louisiana Department of Treasury for $600,000 for the Batted Park. I think we had a motion for the resolution for the parish Richard President for the courthouse renovation project. And also we had one deviation for that the president assigned GOSEP to allow cyber readiness evaluation. And all that form of a motion, Mr. President.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, seconded by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss garbage trash service at 2541 Highway 1. Mr. Trustler.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon or good evening. I'm Drake Trostler. I moved to the parish. I bought Kim and Henry Bouvier's home, right by Highway 398. And I got 2 water meters, which is how Henry built the house, right? He got one that goes to the house, he got one that goes to the barn. I'm not sure if Miss Debbie told y'all, all I really want is to remove the garbage fee, and I think it's the insect fee off of one of them and just pay one. Cause I got a 50-acre piece of property, I got a house, I got a barn. It's me, my wife, and my 2 kids, so I don't know why.
Yes, 2 separate meters there?
Yeah, I got 2 separate meters. The way he set it up was he built the house like right after Katrina. And then a couple of years later, he built the barn and he ended up putting a water meter on, he got a water meter on each side of his house. One runs to the house, one runs to the barn. And because of that, I'm charged a $30 garbage fee as well as the spray for the insect fee. And like, I'm not looking for any back pay.
Right.
Basically what happened is I started getting my bills and my wife's like, hey, our water bill's like $75. And I'm like, what you talking about, $75? But as I broke them down, I'm like, I'm being charged twice for garbage when it gets picked up by the house. Look, I got 2 cans. Y'all can have one back. I'm not interested in back pay. I just want to pay one.
Henry
garbage.
didn't have the, it's just a barn, it's nobody, it's not an apartment or anything, right?
No, it's not. I
It's just
gotta,
open
nobody's
shed.
living in my backyard. It's just me, my wife, my 2 kids, and my 4 horses. That's it.
But it could change.
Or it could change.
It could change. So you can disconnect that meter or you pay the double charge. The policy is, Carl,
If
if
you
it
have a
has the
structure that has the
ability.
capacity to generate
capacity to
trash,
generate.
we charge you for a garbage fee. I have the same issue at my house. I have a shed.
So
and I have
how,
a
it- I
house.
mean, how it generates trash and nobody lives in it?
You have the capacity to generate trash. You said you have horses? Do you feed those horses? I mean, I have the same issue at my house. I have a shed in my
Why you just
backyard.
don't hook up to 1 meter?
Yeah, we do it by, you know, and I'm not in charge of this, but that's the way I found it here when I came here 20 years ago, and that's the way it's always been. If you have a meter and it goes to a structure that has the capacity to generate trash, you will get charged.
So 5 bags of feed a month?
Well, you know,
The easiest thing to do is run that water line to that second structure to your first meter, get rid of the second meter.
we have a lot of issues, we have a lot of camps, we have a lot of things that we can't just go and prorate everything. And that's up to the jury, it's not my decision, but I had the
To be
same
honest
issue
with
as
you,
you. I had the
when
same issue as you.
When I first called, I thought there was a process to say, hey, come review it, right? Because I do understand that
Yes.
if I turn that barn into an apartment, right? and somebody was living in it, I think it's a different story.
Yes.
Right? I think it's legitimate.
I agree.
I got 2, right? But the way I'm set up,
I'm the same way. I've got a shed in my backyard. I got a meter on one side, just like you explained it. I'm the exact same way. I've been paying that same thing for 27 years.
yeah, like there's no intention to have anybody live in the house.
No.
Like I purchased this thing.
Yeah.
So my daughter got a
4
battery.
meters and side by sides in mine. Doesn't generate any trash. But that's the way this policy's always been. Now, if the jury wants to change it, that's up to them.
Yeah, I don't think.
You run it through 1 meter every day.
Disconnect that water down to the water line and run it to your
Yeah,
house.
the way he's got it designed, we got a pond in the front yard. It would cost me some dollars to do it.
Well, I get it.
That's just the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just looking to I mean, when you think about $30 a month or whatever for the insect fee, 35. Basically nothing, right? That's what it is, so.
Yeah, it's a tough one on us, because we got a lot out there.
We have tractor sheds, we have a lot of facilities, like you just said, but, it's hard to manage it. You know, it's just in this rural parish. And they can attest to the fact that we're not losing money on our trash and our fees, but we scraping, you know, by the bottom of the barrel. And if we would go that route where me and you would have to stop, we could probably take off 1,000 people. Not 1,000, but 400 or 500.
They go up to $50.
We have to go up and everybody, you know, so it goes by the water meter in the structure. Now, if you had an open lot that just had a garden on it, didn't have a structure on it, then we could come and say, yeah, you just water in your garden. But if you got the capacity to generate trash with a structure, that's the way our policy's always been. I know I do the same thing.
Yeah, and look, I'll be honest with you, when I called, I just thought it was like, there was this process to get it reviewed.
Well,
you gotta come talk to the
there is.
jury,
If
right?
you said you had just a garden, but you water in your garden, I'd say, okay, that's structure. You don't have no structure. You can't generate trash, but.
You had a shed on that lot with a garden? You paying?
Right, if you had a
You be
shed.
paying.
Yes, sir.
I think I need to look at that policy, but, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I do think there's probably people out there that say, hey, I just got a shed, somebody's living in it,
Yeah.
right? And then, you know, obviously you gotta audit that, right? And I
We
get
don't have
it,
the
I
force to
understand.
go out and check that and audit that. That's right. You know, somebody comes and says, okay, I'm not living here today. And we go and say, we can take it off. And then 2 weeks later, they put somebody in there. The parish doesn't have a force to go police that. We just we have a small workforce. It's an honor thing, you know, so, but that's why we just said it's a blanket. If you have a structure, you know, but like I said, I'm not part of the governing body to change that. That's up to these guys here.
I recommend this one time before, and I'll say it again. The parish get out of the garbage collection business and do like some other parishes do, let the residents take care of their own garbage, choose what collector they want. We wouldn't have these problems. We wouldn't have to worry about being under or over the budget in garbage. You said we too rude, but they do it in other places, they're rude enough.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Maybe y'all look at it.
Yep.
The next item, update on Lavderville Ballpark. It has Larry Blanchard on there, but
Is that who requested?
Good. I had called to put this on the agenda. You think you might have just got?
Well, maybe. it
Rob
was-
Blanchard?
Oh.
Katie, what you doing, Katie?
Maybe so, Ms. Larry.
I don't think, I do know Larry Blanchard, but I don't think he's here.
Okay, maybe so.
But
Aaron, just give us a quick update for the record since it's on the agenda.
So basically now with the FEMA calls we've been having about it, we are doing a 6-month extension for a lot of projects, but including this one. We get some contractors to honor some quotes. It would involve us having to mitigate a few safety things on our own and then get some poles replaced before we can get the hurricane damage repaired that was actually done by the hurricane. So we're working on that with just getting close to get poles repaired so that could take place, so we can kind of close out that side of the FEMA job there, but it rolls us into the concession stand thing that we had talked about.
We just back up a little bit. So FEMA, we got money from FEMA,
Yes,
but FEMA, we can't repair what FEMA will pay for until we change some poles in-house.
That is correct.
correct.
All right, carry on.
Yeah.
How many poles?
5, no, it's 5.
Wow. That's the whole roof.
And again, once the poles and all get replaced, a contractor could come and hang all the lights and make that repair, and they can just be stationary.
Just get us a quote on the 5 poles.
Yeah, that's my avenue of doing that, and then,
And my fellow Gerard's definitely gonna help me with that.
the 5 poles, and then we can close out that side of FEMA if, the contractors are on the quotes, but then it rolls us into the concession stand issue with it being full of termites also. Went there just doing a general walkthrough of some things that we can mitigate on our own so that we can open the park back up to the public, and I found a concession stand full of termites.
How you down?
Well, it's a cinder block building.
It's a cinder block.
Just like the other one, so it shouldn't be that bad of a fix.
Yeah, it's
Just tear everything out and redo it and
right.
and treat it, so you can work on getting a cost estimate on that too.
Yeah, that too, and then, again, if we get to the point where we open up, we can mitigate the restroom issues with just portalets like we do at a couple of other parks, so. But we progressing.
So talking about termites, big, I forwarded Mr. Mike some, contracts to look over. And Aaron mentioned including those buildings.
Sure, we need to.
Additionally-
All parents.
Right, so we did almost everything, we just, coming back to it, he mentioned it after he did the walk, so we're gonna come back in and add that portion of it.
I'll check mine to see if I got termites too, it's in the box.
All right, we good.
So, well, no, we're not good.
Well,
Larry wants to talk about it.
I'm trying to see what is our objective? What date are we trying to mitigate the danger to the public so that we can allow them back out there to have a spring baseball season? We're getting close to to the time where we can't have a league.
No, I get it. So if, again, I'm gonna say in-house, we can take down the problem poles, roll back the wiring system that's there, that a contractor replaced, so it's all new. We can store it in facilities we have there, since it could be reused. Mitigate some other things with the press box and the rotten conduit and all that stuff from the main disconnects there. Some rotten set of bleachers that's there, and maybe just like a general house cleaning, housekeeping around it. And I think with the electrical system locked off, from what we did with our lockout, that Brian and one of his guys did, to getting energy to disconnect all of their stuff and roll their things back, it can be open for daytime use.
Aaron, I keep hearing you say about in-house, doing this in-house, doing that in-house. When you have a problem with keeping up with the maintenance in the parish, where we gonna find the people to do all this work?
I say in-house with my fingers up like this, and we could do it. It would take,
Yeah, but we got people, we got residents from Ladville keep coming there every month talking about they flooding because of stopped up drainage and all other kind of problems.
I get it.
We're not getting no maintenance work done in the parish right now.
I get it. We, at this time, have a lot of stuff going on,
So,
so.
but we can't keep doing all this in-house.
I thought our heads was gonna turn, that's what I recall in the meeting, that we was gonna get so much work done, our heads was gonna turn.
I ain't turning too much. I still got projects from last year. Touch.
I mean, at some point you gotta tell us, hey, look, I can't do all this in-house work.
Yeah.
You got a contract
I've
out.
been waiting for you to say it.
I mean, then I could tell y'all to do that with your drainage project.
Well, you should have been cut that off. I would have been cut it off, dog. You know you was down manpower. I would have been there like, oh, pump this brakes. I don't have the manpower, don't have the capacity. Please give me at least 3 to 4 months and shut it down. Anything else you want, contract it out. You got money to do it, go with it like that.
Do y'all
Cause you don't
realize
have
the
it, dog.
Look, the same money that I sit there and do cost estimates with, most of them are less than 10 grand. We could do that with contractors all over the place. Like, does everybody understand that?
Yeah, but it's just the cost to have the contractor
Right.
do it is gonna,
Right.
you're not gonna be able to do half of the project.
Cause I can tell you right now, most of the contractors I've talked to, no less than $1,000 or $1,200 a
Like
day.
this.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Let's get some maintenance work done. Put some of these other projects on hold. When you get the time, you get the employees to do them, then you do those projects. But in the meantime, we need to stop the people from flooding and all that. We need to start getting these covers clean, get these ditches dug and all that. That haven't happened in over 2 months right now.
2 months, you're talking about 6 years.
100 years, one, already.
So-
100 years.
So with respect to this item, with the last part, do we go get a bid from a contractor to come and do this work if you can't do it in-house? I mean, we have to put some time, if it can't be done within, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or end of February, then we need to have somebody come in and do it.
Contact Stacy tomorrow to put it in to get the power disconnected, so it can start. That's the first process we have to have. We have to pull the power from it.
Yes, like I said, when I say we can do it in-house, yeah, it's physically possible. We have competent people, but
Within,
just
by the end
understand.
of February, no.
Yeah, no, not about infant. No.
All right, so we need to start
Contract
moving
it out,
down a
yeah.
different route so that, I mean,
So we can
you got people wanting to use the park,
I get it.
and we're just telling them you can't use the park.
Pull the meters,
Then
pull the
it
meter off.
needs to be contracted out, and then y'all can sit
Go
there
ahead and
and
just
butt
pull the
heads on
meter
who's
off.
paying for
I
it.
can tell you a story about that, Mr.
No, I
Charles.
agree with you.
We pulled a meter and Bayou Lewis, and they still had 500 volts going through it. After the meter was out
Pull the
of
lines down. Pull the
place. It's
damn
better to
lines
get
down.
in there and pull it off the pole. Yeah.
Pull it down. You don't need it if
Do it
you're gonna
right.
get done.
Do it right.
So you're gonna get an estimate from a contractor to do what it takes to make the park safe.
And installing 5 or 6 poles.
Yeah.
But you had, in your email, you said something about that the poles may be able to be included in this FEMA effort and
No, the FEMA paid for one pole to get replaced. It was the only one that was knocked down by the storm. The rest of them aren't considered storm damage.
okay.
But right.
Next item, discuss sewer connections for 144 Bertrand Street and 5452 Douglas Street. Chris.
Yeah, I had a resident call me complaining about no connections at these two, addresses right here. I think she went out with Aaron. I talked to Pat. Pat went out there and looked. And when the sewer system was put down, both of the addresses had houses at them. But there was no connection put at the residence. The lady that was complaining, she's actually stay out of town. She just moved back home. She stay out of state, just moved back home. And she looking to connect to the sewer system. There's not a connection out there. Pat went out, he said he couldn't find anything. So I talked to Pat and he said, he got the bid, he said he should have had a connection out there. And there was no connection.
Why don't we cut in a new connection? I don't see what.
Well, that's what, I talked to Aaron about it, and to get him to do it, I had to put it on the agenda. Because we already be the one to open the road up anyway, but it would be for them to open it up, just put a connection out to the property, and then they gotta take care of the rest on their own. But I had to put it on the agenda to get approved, I just can't authorize that. So I guess my motion is to have this parish just do a connection to the property, but all connect.
I second that motion.
Have those two addresses been added to the list that they're paying for sewer and they're in the district?
Well, they should be, I mean, but they're in the district, but they're gonna have to pay
Structures on it
them.
now?
Huh?
They don't have any structures on it now?
Yeah, they got instructions on them.
They have structures on? Okay.
Double check.
I'll check.
Yeah.
But the only issue, and just giving some insight to Aaron, when I was there, we usually require a certified plumber to hook into our sewer system.
Yeah, and I talked to Aaron, and they can, Aaron said his guy can do what they need to do. They're just gonna hook in and just run an outlet to the property.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, that's your discretion, but I know at one time we did it, but when I was there, it was a certified plumber.
At the parish hard?
No, it was paid for by the landowner.
we did it all kind of ways for when you were.
Yes, I know it was.
We did it without certified.
Just make sure they pay us too.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Carter,
If the parish gonna pay for it, because we the one left it out. Okay,
a motion on the floor by Mr. Carter for the parish to install sewer connections at 144 Bertrand Street and 52 Douglas Street. Second by Mr. Alcorn.
Yes.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Update on completion of the Assumption Parish Courthouse Storage Facility and authorize the president to execute any documents necessary to effectuate transfer of improvements.
Mr. President, in accordance with the CEA between the jury and the clerk of court, the courthouse storage facility has been completed, and a certificate of occupancy has been filed. In order to switch over the electrical, I have drafted an act of transfer that you need to be authorized to sign, and the clerk of court is here to answer any questions that any of the jurymen might have.
Good evening, y'all. Aaron Air, clerk of court. I don't have anything to add other than what Michael said, just if y'all have any questions.
Completed, building's done.
right? So that big old building right there.
Yeah. Motion
A lot of
to,
room,
motion allow the transfer? That's,
Motion.
To
Yes, just
authorize.
for the president to
Sign.
sign the
Sign.
act of,
All right,
act of
yeah.
transfer for the improvements.
there you go.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Nakam,
Second.
second by Mr. Bro. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Request approval for proclamation declaring March 2025 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month.
I make the move.
I don't gamble.
Motion by Mr. Carter,
Second.
second by Mr. Pineville. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval from State DOTD for a caution light in front of the funeral home on Highway 70.
I'd like for us, the parish, to send a letter to the state requesting a pedestrian walking light in front of the funeral home and the church, whenever they have services there, funerals.
I say,
Never had it.
So, just to kind of let you know, there's a permit application that we're gonna have to submit to the area engineer for him to approve it. I'm just letting you know the process. We can send it to DOTD, but without submitting that permit,
The first,
was-
with Ellisor?
no, it's another,
It's in the federal.
All right, whatever we gotta do to, try to get us a pedestrian, caution sign.
right, so
Okay, second is motion.
motion by Mr. Pineville, second by Mr. Carter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval to send letter of support for Care South Medical and Dental to apply for grant funding for healthcare services in Assumption Parish.
Well, Mr. Chair, yeah, go ahead, you got a motion in a second? I was gonna say a few things. We're gonna pass it.
And we good?
We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who made the motion? Mr. Mathern? Motion by Mr. Mathern, second by Mr. Bro. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr.
Request-
Chair, I just want to recognize this, the CEO of, the healthcare,
Okay, yeah. All right.
he's here, Care South, Dental, Mr. Matthew.
Matt Valaire, CEO of Care South. We're housing in Baton Rouge. We also have locations in Donaldsonville, Plackham. Have a couple of board members who grew up in the area, and also have been talking to former Senator Troy Brown about bringing services to the parish. So this grant will help as far as planning that, and we want to try to start bringing a mobile unit here at least once a week to start, and then work with the parish police bureau, probably getting a brick and mortar location. So brought some information on some of the services we provide. We do a OBGYN, pediatrics, gastroenterology, urology, whole bunch of services. We know they're needed in rural parishes. I'm from the Lafayette area, grew up as a rural country boy, so always want to look out for the rural parishes as far as healthcare services.
Eye doctor. Is that included in your current services?
No, we don't have a vision. What we do have is a machine called Retina View, where it's a remote ophthalmologist that, it's just like you're going to the doctor, but you're looking at them through a camera and everything, and they see you at the computer. So it's kind of like telehealth. So we do offer the services, but you're not dealing with optometrists or ophthalmologists face to face.
Just think about that's a void in Assumption Parish that we've been having for a long time, so.
But I appreciate it. I'll just follow up as far as the letter. The grant is due February 19th, so we'll be in touch, and also want to bring some other community partners that you see fit to be a part of a consortium And,
Kim,
I had the contact.
yeah, you got the contact. She's gonna, Secretary of Treasury's gonna send it to you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you for looking out for Assumption Parish.
Well, one of our own was looking out for, which is Jody Davis from the Lavderville area.
Leroy, on 19, that date is, March 15th. When we get to 19.
Next item, request approval of the following occupational license, Scott Seminole Interiors.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Nakane, all in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Request approval of the following liquor license application, Fast Stop 133, Donaldsonville. Who knows what store this is?
That's table, remember? Because they actually had one. So they had one, they just needed it expired, we got it.
Oh, he
the
just needed to go
approval
get it renewed.
Renewed, we got the approval from like years ago.
That needs to be
So it
tabled,
didn't
there's no
expire.
action.
Oh, just no action.
It didn't expire. He thought it
He thought-
expired.
Yeah, it was
So
gonna
he made him
expire.
redo the application and it
Yeah.
wasn't expired.
No action required.
Table that.
Request approval of the following temporary liquor license application by Lewis Athletic Association for March 15th, 25 at 1213 Highway 662, Morgan City.
It did change them, yeah, it's March 15th, motion.
Hey, you have one back?
What's the date, R?
March
Well,
15th.
Just
yeah.
March.
That's
Yeah,
March
right.
14th and March 15th.
That just came in yesterday.
All right, you got a motion?
Yeah.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Patero, second by Mr. Bro, all in favor? Opposed, motion carried. We have another temporary liquor license for St. Jude's Catholic Church for Alamanger Festival for April 26th to April 28th. Motion by Mr. Alcorn, second by Mr. Bro, all in favor? Opposed, motion carried. Any other deviation? Motion adjourned by Mr. Nakane.
Brian got a
You wanna talk
deviation.
about the insurance, health insurance?
Got a deviation right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Alleviation. We had a winter conference that was scheduled for in September that was, rescheduled because of the hurricane. And I was asking for approval for LaSalle and I to, attend this conference. It's February 10th through the 13th. And also Katie.
Yes.
Estimated cost $2,169.80.
Motion to deviate.
Motion to deviate by Mr. Alcorn, second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Opposed? All right, I seek a motion to approve, federal programs for 2 people to attend the, ACAP conference in Lake Charles. Motion by Mr. Alcorn. Second by Mr. Carter. Any public comment on this item? Second call. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
You want to speak about, maybe a DBA for the item with the health insurance of the parish employee prior to 55 years old want to be able
Yeah, I
to.
just don't know that we have sufficient information to take action on it tonight, though.
Just put it on the next agenda.
What information you need?
So.
All right, so, well, all right, so, seeking a deviation regarding the health insurance policy for retirees. The motion to deviate by Mr. Pineville,
We still have a deviation.
there's,
We don't have to deviate for each item. Once we under deviation, are we good?
Why can't this be discussed at the next meeting?
We could be.
Because
Just put,
she may be running out of insurance on the 1st of next month, of this month coming.
well, by law, she has
I was
18
gonna say, you
months.
can't make the change tonight anyway, you're not gonna change the whole health insurance for one person. Deviations, again, guys, we need to put stuff on the agenda.
So she'll be covered, let me just ask this question. If she goes on the 18-month, Cobra, she'll be able to come back on the insurance?
No, she has 18 months for COBRA. That's it.
under the current policy. I think that's I think what Jamie is asking is if the policy changes.
What do you want to change the policy to?
Saying that if a parish employee would not be at the 55 years old, but they had the years of service, if we would allow them to stay on the policy and they pay the 100% of the policy. If we allow.
Till
them-
age 55?
No, before.
For
Before they reach
the,
that.
for the duration. Basically adding an additional category instead of the years of service and age, if you have the years of service but don't have the age, you have the option to remain on the policy, but you're responsible for 100% of the premium.
Gentlemen, if you all do this, then you are opening up
You can't do it.
the doors for any employee that was hired prior to 2017 with 15 years of service to say goodbye tomorrow. And then this policy funds their health insurance till they're dead. That is crazy.
No, they would pay 100% of it if they was out before.
We still paying claims on these people. We paying claims on everybody that's on our policy. So you're saying put an employee that worked here 15 years, they not 55, so they can just move on, quit tomorrow, go work somewhere else, but stay on our health insurance policy indefinitely as a retiree. And our premiums every year are based on our claims. So that person's medical will follow us indefinitely. That's a very, very poor financial decision, gentlemen.
I'm just thinking, I'll just put it out there.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Carter.
That would be
Second by
tremendous
Mr. Nakane.
impact.
All in favor?
People walking up the road. Yeah.